Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Hasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to begin with Untouchables, Derek Bowles, followed by an icon in hockey, the Don Cherry of ladies hockey, Digit Murphy, then by champion Taylor Woods. North South is back with Ryan Payton and John Freeman Nelson. And then live, the grizzled young veteran with Billy doing a post-game Maple Leafs Forever and talking about the Blue Jays on Blue Jays Strike Zone. Here is Untouchable.
Foremost, welcome to the Courageous Conversations powered by Unstoppable. Man, I want to talk to you a little bit about the scope of our show because I want people to understand what we're talking about, right? We want to be able to transcend, transform the hearts and minds of our world. And today, I'm excited about the person that we have being our guest. But before I say anything else, I want to honor my co-host, Mike Garland. Mike Garland, are you there?
I'm here. And I'm really excited about this podcast. And today we have as our special guest, number one motivational speaker in the world, E.T. Eric Thomas. What's going on, E.T.?
Hey, bless, man. Hey, if Coach say I'm number one, I'm number one.
There's no question about it, bro. You know what? You won a lot of championships in your career. You won a lot of championships.
Amen. Praise God. Excited to be here, man. You know, doing podcasts, it's always a blessing, but doing it with people, that you spend time with, that you admire their success, people you love, you have a close relationship with, and Coach, of course, as many of us know who might be watching this, has been a coach to a lot of us. And I've been blessed to not only have a relationship, but the fact that he had a relationship with my firstborn,
wow.
That means that's a lot to me, man. My guy, Jay Bullock,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Coach and I have a very special, relationship, man. And we both had to raise Jay. we both shared and raising the boy.
Yeah, no question.
So, for those of you who don't know, my son was a general manager at Michigan State basketball. So he was blessed to be right, with all of the greats there, Coach Izzo, et cetera. But his right-hand man was Coach OG. So super excited to be here. So, talk to me, D. Talk to me, man. How you holding up? I didn't see you since the Super Bowl.
I know, man. I know. No, I'm God is good, that. And I just appreciate, you taking the time. But more importantly, I want my first question in my mind. I know you took a number of young people from Michigan to the Super Bowl. And, I know when we were at the hotel and all that stuff, you said you were taking them to do something. Tell me a little bit about that experience, man. Because my mind, I was like, how is he facilitating all that? Like,
that's who he is. That's who he is.
Coach, no, to facilitate something like that, you got to have a good team.
No question.
So I have a phenomenal team. My baby girl, who is a proud graduate of Michigan State, 4-year, her master's. She's not working for the foundation, so she was one of the ones to support me and help me train Katie. But man, we took 41 kids, actually from Michigan, Illinois, and Maryland. So we had kids from 3 different states that went with us. And as you probably already know, man, this was the first time that most of them had ever gotten on a plane. And none of them had been to Phoenix before. And none of them had gone to the Super Bowl. And it's funny, though, one of the girls said to me, "Now, why are they having a football game at Rihanna's concert?"
Right.
Yeah. I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure it out.
Right.
But it was a phenomenal experience, and I know you guys both know because you guys have been blessed that your gifts have made room for you. Your gifts have made room for you and allow you to see the world. And so, but a lot of our children don't get to see the world. So for me, I understand that my level of exposure determines my level of success. you know. And I always tell people, man, I've been on some of them charter planes, you know, with the basketball team. You know, I stayed in the hotels, and you know, people say all the time, man, you're a motivational speaker. Yeah, it's different though, man, when you're getting off a bus and hundreds of people waiting for you, you know, when you get off the bus, you know, and as you walking in the hotel, people are clapping and cheering, you know, you on. And I always tell people, man, when you travel with Michigan State basketball, man, you're going to eat good. You know what I'm saying? You're going to eat good, bro. Hey, and you don't have to cook. You don't have to cook, and you're going to eat good.
That's real.
The only thing about it, though, E, you know how Coach and I are, you got to eat quick, though. A lot of food, but you got to eat quick.
You got to eat quick.
Right.
Hey, but it's free food, so I don't care how I put it down. You know, so
man.
Yeah, and so man, I've been able to get a lot of exposure. I've gone into arenas that most people would, you know, only dream of. I've been backstage. I've been in the locker rooms. You know, I've been in those. I've been in the other airport that other people don't even know is an airport. Like they don't even know that the airport is over there. So I've been exposed, and as a result of that, it's changed how I see the world. And so for a lot of our babies, man, I know y'all know the stats. 90% of our babies, man, they don't go 2 mile, 3 mile radius outside of their own neighborhood, you know? And so I know, man, being a kid, you know, being born in, you know, spent my first few years in the shop, and then most of my life there, we never went to the pier. Like we never went to the Magnificent Mile. We never shopped at Louis or, you know, went to get popcorn at Garrett. Like we never did that. We was home run in. We was at the candy store, 76, you know, Dominic's, you know, going to grab food for, you know, that's what we did. So I want these kids, though, at an early age to go to Phoenix, go to the Super Bowl, meet some of these players, meet some of their stars, the influencers online. And then I want them to go back home and go, man, I need to take care of school. Because I always tell them this, Coach, you can't meet Coach Izzo, you can't meet Coach Garland playing in street ball. They coming to see you at your high school. They're not coming to see you at the local YMCA, your Boys and Girls Club. They're coming to your high school. So you got to go to school. You got to show up. Coach end up coming there, you ain't in school. You got to show up. So it was an honor to take these kids. People have taken me places that I didn't have access to and gave me opportunities that I didn't create on my own. And so, man, we just want to do the same thing. Last year, we were only able to do 20. This year, we did do 41. And then last year, we only did about 12 or 13 to Dubai. This year, we look to take about 30 or more to Dubai. So phenomenal experience.
Big, man.
Well, E.T., you know, man, that's phenomenal. And you know, you just mentioned, you know, you had the opportunity to see the world. And as I previously mentioned, the name of our show is Courageous Conversations. If you could tell us what that means to you, and if you could have a courageous conversation with the world, what would be the topic of that conversation?
That's big, Coach. You know, that's big. I will say this to you. To this day, at 52, I still feel uncomfortable when you talk about courageous conversations. You know, now it's something, Coach, that I know I need to do. And it's something that I do out of necessity. But I think about our ancestors who were lynched for having courageous conversations. You know, I think of our ancestors who were burned, you know, for having courageous conversations. You know, I think of, you know, a little Emmett Till, you know, and how, you know, he was murdered, you know, for his mouth, you know, and so it's not always been easy being an African-American male in this country, having courageous conversations, you know.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of one of our homies, Jamil. I was on her show, of course, Jamil Hill. I was on her show, and she asked, E, when were you undisturbed? And I was like, man, it took a while. It took a while because I was afraid of the consequences. You know? So I wanted to be transparent first about that. Now I have them now because a lot of our ancestors put us in a position where we can have more courageous conversations. So it's something that I do because I know you have to do less work when you just are transparent. You have to
Absolutely.
remember less. You guys go back and forth. Like,
Right.
So when you have them, and the courageous conversation I would have, especially, it being, we just passed Black History Month, is that, man, I would say to my people, man, we got some freedoms that we didn't have.
Right.
Just, few hundred years ago, 50, 60 years ago.
Right.
Right. And we owe it to our ancestors, man, to really stop playing and, and really take life serious. I was telling some kids the other day, I said, listen to me, y'all in a situation now where your food has a house, a room. Your clothes has a room called a closet. People's cars got a room called a garage. Bro, that wasn't always a reality. Your clothes, people got closets, man, for put their clothes in. And some people don't even have a place to stay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Right. That's real.
Absolutely. That's true. That is absolutely true. And I'm old enough to remember, civil rights and the civil rights march. And, I know that's hard for, this audience or you got yourselves to realize, but I was a part of those civil rights marches. What people don't understand, everybody thinks that Selma or the March on Washington was the only marches. No, our people were marching, ET,
Absolutely,
and DB, all around the country. And you had your own little march. And I remember this, man. So, the big thing was when you were having a march, they told everybody to dress up in their Sunday best. So my granddaddy put me in my little Sunday suit and I got dressed and we lined up. I never will forget it. We actually lined up as a community right in front of our house. And I told my granddad, I used to call him by his first name. I said, Dave, I don't want to go because those white people are going to kill us. And you know what he turned around and said? He said, that's why I'm making you do this, because some things are worse than death. And I never, in DB, never forgot that. And sometimes, both of you guys know me, sometimes I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But fortunately, I was never in the position Emmett Till was where somebody could, hurt me for having a courageous conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, that's deep, Coach. Yeah, and like I said, that's my courageous conversation with this generation. Our ancestors went through way more than y'all going through. Y'all had way more privileges than they ever had. You had way more access. Way more access to money and to people. Man, Coach, when you think about social media, if I wanted to reach out to a celebrity, I could just DM them. And there's a strong possibility he or her or they would see my, information. There's people that reach out to me, I don't even know them. They reach out. That couldn't have happened 50 years ago. You couldn't have got in contact with Roberta Flack. Lena Horne, you couldn't have got in touch with, Diana Ross. You couldn't have just Michael Jackson. You couldn't just reach out to them like that.
Right.
And so I would just say to this generation, while we still aren't totally free, my courageous conversation would be, you got this leg of this race. You need to run it. You need to run it. Because that race, this has been a race that's been running for a long time. And there was a lot more stuff that they had to go through to get us to this baton. Now we got the baton, and we got to be careful not to quit and give up now. During this time frame, that'd be my courageous conversation. A lot of times, oh man, you don't know what these kids are. Yeah, I do understand. I was homeless. I do know what it's like. I was homeless for 2.5 years. I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like not to eat. I know what it's like to feel abandoned. My daddy wasn't in my life. I do understand. But the courageous conversation is, it does not matter because our ancestors didn't let it matter. They got through way worse than what we have to get through. And they still ran their race. And I like to believe, DB, I like to believe they finished the course. They finished their course.
Hey, no question. And I want to just add to the conversation because John W. Carlos, ran the Olympics 1968, is one of my mentors. So I talk to him all the time. Lives in Atlanta. And one of the things that he said, and he continues to say, is we really need to focus on, like you said, we're passing the baton, but we're not sure the people who are receiving the baton is ready to run the race. And that's what we got to really be investing in. Like, we got to get that next generation to realize that we still in it, right? We're still in this struggle. We're still in the same situation. And so we have to get them understanding, like, it's bigger than just them.
Right.
It's generational that's being impacted.
No doubt.
No question. Yeah,
no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. DB, it's on you now.
Yeah. Well, I'm always excited, man, because, in my mind, I think about a couple things. People are always trying to, figure out, your journey. How did you make it happen? What was your success model? How did you make everything that transferred from you being homeless to becoming the #1 speaker in the world? And I think people want to hear, how did you do it? Like, what was your motivation? What was your why? What was pushing you to make that transition? That's real talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Lost, man. I always remember an interview. I think it was on TNT. Don't quote me. It could have been ESPN. It could have been any one of those. But it was an interview between the late great John Thompson and KG.
Right.
And KG said, "We losing, man." He was in Minnesota.
Right.
And he said, "What drives you?" He said, "We losing.
Right.
We losing." And he like, "Look, cut the camera off." He had emotion. We losing.
Right.
And I don't play basketball, but I had that moment in my life where I was homeless. I had an estranged relationship with my mom, struggling in school. I was 16 years old. Like, man, you losing. You losing, bro. Like, you made some real bad decisions and you losing. And this ain't how it's going to end. And I literally humbled myself. And I surrendered my life to God, man, when I was about 16 years old. Almost 17. I surrendered to God, man. I put it all on the line. I said, "God, we homeless." He said, "No, we ain't homeless. You homeless. We ain't homeless." But I'm with you though. I am with you though, and I'm with you in your homelessness, and I'm gonna get you through this. And I think that was the first thing, DB, I did. I surrendered to God. I started to slowly but surely lean out into my own understanding. But I started asking God, "Why am I here? What do you want from me? Why'd you earth?" And he said to me, "Son, I call you to be a speaker, be a preacher. I call you to motivate. I call you to inspire."
Yes, sir.
And so I got up and started going to church. I didn't grow up in church. Like, my parents weren't evil or nothing like that. We had morals. But my father, who raised me, he wasn't necessarily, like, at that point in our lives, when I was younger, he wasn't really church going like that. And so, but yeah, I gave my life to Christ. I went to a religious university before I came to Michigan State. And it was there that I would get up early in the morning, 4, 5, 6, and I would pray and ask God, "What you want me to do?" And so he showed me my gifts, sent me to college to start working on my vocabulary. I didn't read well. I didn't comprehend well. Right. I wasn't a good decision maker. And so God used that university, Oakwood, to kind of shape and mold me. And I just, what's crazy, man, like, schools, man, people impact us. The mantra of the school was enter to learn, depart to serve. That was what they taught us. Wow. And so I would go into the hospitals and serve. I would go to the prisons and serve. I started a GED program. And you know what's so funny, Coach? I thought I was helping people and I was getting help the whole time.
Right.
Wow.
All that time I'm going to these prisons, think I'm helping somebody. I'm going to the senior citizen home, sit down with them and trying to give them some, tender loving care. And I think I'm about to go in there and change their life. And man, them people say certain things to me in prison. They say certain things. Being in the hood, that GD program, the community members would say stuff to me. And I literally, man, by beholding I became changed. So that's the journey. Then I was blessed to be, at an early age. My wife, we met in Detroit, went to school together, and she really just, man, she was that helped me, and she wasn't afraid to have courageous conversations. She had a bunch of them with me. She had a bunch of them with me. And so
that's real,
she was instrumental. But I will say this to you. I was well equipped, well on my way, but still acting like a boy in many regards. And when my son Jalen was born, that changed everything for me, man. I don't know, maybe to have somebody to be responsible for. I don't know what it was, man. But when he was born, man, I cut all the foolishness out, went back to school, started getting so super focused. And I just didn't want to let my son down, man. I just didn't want to be, I didn't want to do him. I wanted to be a good example. So when Jalen was born, it was already a battery in me, but boy, he lit a fire.
You got amped.
Right.
And I got amped when that boy was born. And I tell him all the time, I said, boy, you better do something with your life, because I've done something with yours. You just being born did something for me. So you better do something with your life, man. So that's what it was, man.
That's big.
But E.T., what you're saying goes along these lines, and sometimes we don't realize it, but I'm sure you both have heard the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Sometimes that doesn't mean it's an actual teacher. Well, life may be that teacher at that point. Like you said, you went to the university and you thought you was getting yourself ready for all this stuff to teach other people, and you actually learned a ton. And to me, what made me a better basketball player was when I became a coach. When I became a coach, if I could have played the way I was playing once I became the coach, man, I don't know, but that all falls in that line, E.T. And even with your son, I was kind of in that same situation. My wife was 19 and I was actually 21, and we both were in we both were going to school. We were in university, just like you. We were at Northern Michigan University, just like you and your girl, E.T., and you and Dee Dee. And we had a child, man. And you talking about the light bulb going on. It came on quick, and it was flickering. It was flickering, bro.
Right.
It was like a strobe, like back in the 70s. I had to get up and do it. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No,
that's it, DB. Yeah, those were the events that took place in my life that honestly, man, made me go from, Paul said, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, behaved as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Right. And when my son was born, that's when I really made a decision to put away childish things and be the person that God had created me to be.
Man, that's big, man. It's powerful too. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that's going to help a lot of people, man.
I hope so. Right. We're not saying you got to have a child. Coach just said you got to be ready for the teacher when the teacher comes. Somebody said I got to go out here and have me a baby. Like, you
no, don't do that. Right. That's not misunderstood.
Yeah, right.
No, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But E.T., you had 2 kids that went to Michigan State. Yeah. And of course, I was an employee there for 23 straight years. Could you speak a little bit about, from a societal perspective, about the recent shooting on campus?
Yeah. So it's so sad, Coach. And I'll be honest with you, Coach. You see it happen in the world, and you always feel like, man, I feel for them. But that ain't nothing. That's never gonna happen, to us. And so I think, to your point, Coach, what really hurt me is that this is my community.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
this is,
Right.
you know, I worked at Michigan State as an employee from probably 2005 to maybe 2010. And I still work at the university. So even though I'm not employed by the university, they still know me on campus. I still run a program every Monday night, you know, for a large majority of kids. Maybe when I started, it was African-American, but, you know, I'm pretty universal now. So it's about 200 plus that come from all walks of life. Matter of fact, the kid that works for me now, Brandon, he used to go to U of M and he used to drive to the program every Monday. For 2 years, you know. So being, you know, I graduated from there, you know, my children graduated from there. Man, it was a big blow, man, to think that this place that has always been a place of safety, we never had no issues, to now you go up there and you're concerned. You know, hey, and you know, I just want to say this to add context. Coach and I were literally 2 days after it happened, we had this big event we were about to do, bringing people from the outside world to our world. Coach was going to minister to them, you know, in a message. I was going to be, you know, almost their liaison and walk them through the campus. Coach Izzo was going to do some stuff with them. We had a game. We were going to take them to dinner. This happened just 2 days before they were supposed to come on campus. So this, you talk about, there's one thing if it would have happened just in a normal sequence of life, but we had a huge program, at least 25 people that we had coming, you know, and so the game stopped. We never stopped. Man, it's Michigan. You know, sleet and snow. We don't stop nothing.
Nothing stopped.
We don't stop you going from class. We don't shut the university down, you know, and for the whole world to be shut down. I'm going to tell you what really warmed my heart, though, in this tragic situation was that Michigan wore green and white. You know, Michigan wore green and white. That's huge, bro. That's huge, really huge. Bro. Really Michigan huge. Wore green and white, and Michigan supported us. You know, and we became one that day. We sure did. We weren't divided. You know, we were one state that day. You know, so I will say this though. I will say, you know, we really have to take mental health serious.
Absolutely.
You know, we have to really take mental health serious. We cannot play anymore, Coach. You know, when we were growing up, man, it was, hey, be tough. Don't cry. Don't, you know. Coach, we passed those days, Coach. We passed those days. And now when somebody say they hurting, we got to take it serious when they say they hurting. You know, when somebody's saying that, you know, they making threats, you know, to themselves or talking about making threats to others, you know. And so I'm super excited, though, DB. Coach and I talked the other day. We were together, praise God, for 2 days in a training. And we talked about doing something about it based on what happened on campus. So what happened on campus is not going in. We talked about doing a basketball tour, clinic, camp with a mental and emotional component and taking it across the world and bringing in Spartans like my son, like T-Walk, other Spartans. And we're going to travel the world, man, and do our part to say, hey, we missed that one, but we're going to get in front of this thing. And we're going to get you while you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're going to get you while you're young. Because had this young man probably gotten some assistance earlier, had he felt like somebody was listening or he got the right treatment, you know, we may not have had 8 babies traumatized. And who knows, even though the people who weren't necessarily directly impacted, the people who watch and the families whose babies were in the hospital. And then unfortunately, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, I do know that I believe we lost 3 of our babies. I don't know if it was more because they were in critical condition, but we lost 3 and those families would be devastated and will forever be devastated, you know, at the loss of that. But I do want to commend Coach Izzo, you know, for all intents and purposes, bro. He has been our leader for quite some time. And I don't say that to disrespect the president of the university, but Coach has been a staple for us. and he's been our leader on that campus in East Lansing for some time now, you know, and so I was very proud of how he stood up and spoke to the families and to the community as a whole, and then the way he rallied the team up on that first game we had coming back. He rallied the troops, and those boys went out and got a W. And again, that is not going to heal the trauma, but it shows that we are a community and we fighting together.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
So yeah, devastating, Coach. Couldn't believe it. I was out of town. Normally I'm on campus. On Mondays, I'm on campus with a group of students from like 7 to 8:30. So I would have been on campus. We would have had to evacuate. But I was at the University of Louisville that day. But we still in prayer for the families, and we pray that this is the last mass shooting on a major campus that we have to worry about.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
That's my prayer.
ET and DB, here's a little side note information on that. That the world doesn't really know is that on that same night, Stephen Izzo went to Berkey to pick up his girl who was in Berkey Hall during the shooting. But he would go there every Monday night. You know, it was a night class for her, and he was picking her. He would go there, pick her up. He would always go inside to walk her back out to the car and everything. He gets there. Had he been 20 minutes earlier, he would have probably been in that hallway where those kids got shot, the ones that lost their lives. He would have been in that hallway because he'd have been waiting for his girl to come out of the class. But fortunately, when he pulled up, the police grabbed him and stuffed him back into his car, and he got back to went back to the Breslin Center and sought shelter in our alumni locker room. But can you imagine that, being his age and your girl in there? He doesn't know if she's okay. I mean, and just think, I mean, he, like you said, you know, we could have been running our event and had it happen at that time. But just imagine, man, if Stephen, you know, I even hate to say this, if he would have lost his life, you know, in there, you know, in that situation, but praise God, he didn't. And, but man, it impacted everybody that has any connection to Michigan State.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I just want to jump in because, you know, people don't want to talk about how, you know, two things that pop into my mind. I mean, we just came out of a pandemic, right? We've been locked down for a year and a half, 2 years. Like, all that stuff is important, and especially for men. You know, the suicide rate for men, which I don't think people are thinking about or talking about from a mental health perspective, but 700,000 men every year commit suicide. That's 60,000 a month. That's 2,000 a week. That's every 4 seconds. 3 out of 4 men are committing suicide. So we got to be very aware of the mental health side of the story, right? Because sometimes we, like ET said, we think that everything's going to work itself out. Everything's not going to work itself out. It's just not. So we got to make sure that we're addressing the challenges that people are facing. That's real talk.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
And that's what we're going to do. Like Coach and I, you know, we're going to use our influence, use our impact, and even our income, man. And we're going to get out here this summer. And we can't save them all, but just know that there will be a large majority of kids who love basketball, that we're going to use basketball as the lesson, but then we're going to talk to them about their mental and emotional health and just their purpose in life, and getting a sense of direction, man. You know, and just give them some hope, man. You know, it's funny, Coach. I'm going to a Rikers Island to speak to a group of kids.
Oh wow!
And one of our sponsors was he did I think a 10-year bid in prison, and I said to him, man, what you think I should say? I've never been in prison. And he said, man, the first thing you need to do, E, is give them hope. Give them hope, E. Give them hope. You know, and I said, yeah, that's good. And I realized, Coach, that's not even the kids necessarily who are in prison. there are those of us who are in prison that are not in prison.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
And I realized, Coach, the thing that is the, and again, I can't pretend to be, a licensed therapist, but I do know humans and I've been around them for a long time. And I do understand that one of the gateways to depression and suicide is loss of hope.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's loss of hope.
Absolutely.
And we got to do our part to make sure that the people that we're close to, our children, our spouses, our co-workers, our friends, we have to make sure that we create an environment where, it's hope. It's not fake. You got a courageous conversation. We got to tell the truth.
Right.
But we have to provide hope, and so I said to him, I got it. And I hear you. And I'm going to make sure as we move forward, because our ancestors did it, even in slavery. We sang songs.
Exactly.
We went to church.
Exactly.
We got into the word. Why?
Exactly.
They were given hope. It was like, we can get through this.
Absolutely.
Right.
Imagine if they would have just recounted all the darkness that they was going through and all the hell they was going, they would have lost their mind. But they sang them songs. And then songs got them through,
Right.
And the hope of we shall overcome someday.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that we shall overcome. They didn't say we overcome today. They were saying we shall overcome someday. And that hope is what got them through it. It got us where we are right now.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
Yeah, DB, we got to give our hope, man.
Hey, that's real talk, man. That's so real. So real. Thank you for sharing that too. I think that's, like you said, your influence and really the people who you have their ear, right? They're listening. So let's see if we can make the world a little bit a better place, right? That's really what we're trying to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. Well, E.T., and we understand that you're a very busy guy. And,
no busier than y'all. No busier than y'all.
You're always on the move, and we appreciate your time. But if you could allow DB to ask you one more question, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah,
but if not, we understand.
We're good, Coach.
We absolutely understand.
Yeah, no, we're good. Come on, DB, give it to me.
Yeah. Well, my mind's always going. You already know how I am. I'm in my mind.
Yeah.
So two things popped out, and I'm gonna go back to our time at the Super Bowl and our conversations and some of the things that you said to me. And one of the things that you said to me was, when you get up and you get on the treadmill or whatever cardio you're doing or whatever you're trying to do to get your body right, that you are praying that entire time. And so for me, like as soon as you told me that, I want to make sure I echo what you just said. I'm gonna give it back to you. That's what I've been doing every morning. So you've already impacted me, because you said, this is what I do every time I get up to work out. And you didn't give me any instructions, but my mind was like, why am I not doing that? So I'm gonna give you a moment to share your thoughts, man.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's good, Coach.
That's good.
So let me say this. One of the things that I had to realize early on in life was that the only thing that was leading me was my mind. My teeth weren't leading me. My eyes weren't leading me. My hands weren't leading me. My feet weren't leading me. The one thing that was leading my entire life was my mind. Wow. And it was the least thing that I paid attention to.
Right.
It was the least thing that I gave attention to. I'm saying? I'm working on everything else. My mouth, I'm running it. I'm eating. My feet is all over the place. My hands are doing all kinds. But man, I never. And so when I get on the treadmill, it's like, you can't just do cardio. You got to also do, mind exercise.
Exactly.
And so to me, talking to God, talking to the creator, the person that created me, is no better. Man, let me tell you something, man. Just yesterday, DB, my wife said to me, I got a concern. And I was like, okay, here we go again. Like, what's up now? Like, what I do now? And she said, I'm noticing when you're in the car, you're having this conversation with yourself and your brain ain't resting. It's like, I notice it's like you constantly on the go. So even when you're not on the go, you on the go.
Right.
And so I said, okay, thank you, sweetheart. And the first thing I did was like, you got to read the word more. You got your mind is all over the place because it's not focused on God. It's not focused on you. It's focused on all the stuff you got to do and all the responsibilities you have. And my wife was like, yo, I get it, but that's going to make you go crazy. Like, you need to relax. And the only way I knew how to relax is to go to Psalms, to go to Proverbs,
Yes, sir.
To read, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, read that red where Jesus is talking.
Exactly.
Like that peace comes from the word. It comes from, and so I start, playing my music either, like the ocean or, some calming music, and then, gospel music. And God just said, you got to settle your mind. You got to settle your mind. You're starting to worship. And worship just means that's the thing you're concentrating on more than you concentrating on anything else.
Right.
It's not always a negative term. And so God was like, man, you got to get back to remember when you was homeless and you ain't had no schoolwork?
Right.
Remember when you was homeless and you didn't have no 50 million streams of income? Remember before people was counting on you, who was you counting on?
Right.
What was you doing?
Right.
And I was like, I was going to church. I was in my word. And he said, listen to me, you're still going to church, but you're going to serve. You're not going for you no more. You got to go for you.
Right.
So on the treadmill,
that's big
really,
right there.
Really
that's big.
The treadmill is
well,
really,
E.T., when you speak of that, right away, you start talking about exercising your mind.
Yeah.
And you start talking about, reading in the red, which are the words of Jesus. Well, what's interesting in that, and the Spirit brought this to me as you were speaking, that when Jesus always spoke to his disciples and the masses of people, he always spoke in parables.
Yes.
And the Spirit said to me, that was exercising people's minds, because you got to think, you got to, it's just like doing a workout, and many times at the end of his words, it always said, well, Master, what did you mean by this?
Yeah.
But he wanted them to exercise this.
Yeah.
That was powerful, what you just said. That's super powerful, man.
Yeah. And Coach, when we become men and husbands or fathers or businessmen, it's hard to stay focused on you.
Right.
You become these things that you forget you. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's it, DB. I just need the DB. I need to get a little bit more control of my mind, because if I don't, all the responsibilities and the cares of the world is gonna get it.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's powerful, man. Again, I don't have anything. I don't have any more questions. I'm good. Like that.
Hey, well, don't make this the last time then. Don't make this the last time I'm a guest. Yeah, don't make this the last time I'm a guest on the show then.
Well, we appreciate you once again, and for sure, we plan to make you a frequent guest on this show, and we appreciate all you've done for us.
Well, that was Unstoppables with Derek Bowles and Mike Garland and Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world. Great to have him here. As you know, for Jewish religion, happy Passover, Chag Sameach, and tomorrow in the Christian faith is Good Friday and Sunday Easter. So everybody have a happy Passover, Easter. Be good with the loved ones. You never know when it's gone. Life is gone in a second. A real second. You could be happy for 1 second and then crying the next second because your loved one has been taken away. Appreciate what you have in life, in time, and if you have significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, hold them tight because you never know when is the last time you see them and the last time, life is very fragile. We're going to be joined by the icon in women's hockey, Digit Murphy. As you know, the women's World Championship are currently being played in Brampton here, just outside of the GTA area. Canada winning their first matchup 4-0, and Digit's going to be on here, and she's going to have a few little scoops. We're also going to be joined about 10-15 minutes later by hockey champion, Toronto Six champion, and an Arnold Schwarzenegger strong woman, strong man champion. That's Taylor Woods. Then the return of North South with Ryan Payton and John Freeman Nelson. And then the grizzled young veteran, Marty Roberts and Billy Jorgensakis, Billy the Greek. Um, we'll talk about the Maple Leafs Boston Bruins on Leafs Forever. Maple Leafs Boston at the end of one are scoreless. A big critical game for both teams. If they want to show, the Maple Leafs want to show that they are something this year, maybe win a playoff round. Also scoreless, and Florida leads Ottawa at the end of first 2-0. At the end of first, Washington leads Montreal. At the end of first, Pittsburgh leads Minnesota 1-0. New Jersey leads Columbus 1-0. 2 minutes left in the first. Buffalo and Detroit are tied up at 2. Now, also, the Blue Jays, we'll talk about the Blue Jays on Blue Jays Strike Zone with Billy and Marty, but the Blue Jays doubled up on Kansas City 6-3 today. Atlanta in the bottom of the second leads San Diego 1-0. Red Sox doubled up on Detroit 6-3. San Fran destroys White Sox today 16-6. Colorado gets by the Nationals 1-0. A lot of rain in the area. Marlins, Mets, Yankees, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and Houston, Minnesota all postponed today. Blue Jays open up a series in the LA Angels tomorrow at 9:38. Bassett takes to the mound for the Jays. By the way, the Blue Jays showed to the media today the renovated Rogers Center, social park, and everything like that. Great social experience for the Blue Jays. Just want to take the time. Got glasses here. Let me know on chat how do they look on me here. These glasses, not bad. A little bit tight here and all that, but these glasses belong to somebody special, and that's it. So I'll take them off, and that's it. But we'll be joined by Digit Murphy in a few seconds here to talk about hockey, some big announcements she has, and the women's world that's currently going on in Brampton here. Again, just to follow up here, there'll be no soccer show because of Good Friday, but we will have a special show, maybe game time, maybe beyond the score. You'll see a return of Derek Bowles, and also you'll see Courtney Riddell with the Renaissance Mama, plus some other few segments we have on here on the Fired Up Network. It's been a hard day here. Like I said, happy Passover, Chag Sameach to all the Jewish fans and listeners and viewers out there. And tomorrow and Sunday, Monday, happy Easter to all the people who celebrate. We're about a week away from the NHL closing out the season, the NBA closing out the season. The Raptors are in the play-in. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's very unique here that Raptors were in Boston yesterday. The Leafs are in the same arena, and the Raptors are in Boston again tomorrow. So it's MLSE week at the TD Garden in Boston with the Raptors, the Leafs, and the Raptors again. Just want to give a side note also for those who are asking. The WWE WrestleMania, it looks like tomorrow SmackDown will be run once again by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Vince McMahon will run SmackDown again. In case you missed it, the WWE sold Tim Denver for $9.3 billion. $9.3 billion. Endeavor, the same people who owned the UFC, now have like a conglomerate of 21.4 billion between the UFC and the WWE. So hopefully, and WrestleMania did over 161,000 fans at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on Saturday, Sunday. So now we're going to be joined by the icon Digit Murphy, who I hear through the grapevine may have some scoops, may not, but there she's in the pool there. Okay, the last three times I've seen you, Digit. Last three times you're in the pool.
I,
Like this is hockey season.
no, I want to always be in a warm climate. Foreshadow with my
Okay, warm climate. Now let me ask you, where are you right now? If it's a warm climate,
right now, I am in the East Asian islands out toward China.
wait a minute. Do you expect me to believe this? Because I think that swimming pool is
I'm
based
kidding.
out in New Jersey.
I'm actually in my homestead in Providence, Rhode Island, where I've always called my home base, and I'm pretending to be near the pool because it's my favorite place to be in the world. How are you, Joe?
I'm
My president of the
surviving.
president.
I'm surviving. By the way, Digit, I know for Jewish fans it's Passover, but for this weekend, happy Easter to you and your family and all that. Okay, last time I
Happy
interviewed
holidays to you guys.
Yeah, last time I interviewed you, you were president of some club. I'm not going to mention it. Do I dare ask if you're still the president of that club?
The presidents of the provinces. I am no longer the president of the club. I'm reporting that I would love to wish them all the best on their future endeavors at the American Dream and the American Dream family, and all the people that I've had the pleasure to mentor and try to help through their careers. It's just, Joe, sometimes you just got to go in a different direction because life is short. There's lots going on in women's sports, and foreshadow. Digit Murphy is not done,
All right, hold on,
and
hold on. Are you
lots of fun
telling me
things
right now
happening.
I'm going to put the president of provinces of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, the soon to be the mayor of Toronto here? Are you telling me you're a valuable free agent out there? I'm going to do. I usually
Uh,
don't do this. I usually don't do this, Digit, but this is millions and millions and millions of people are watching. All right, millions, especially
Millions.
out in Toronto and all this. All right, so like, look, are you a free agent? Am I signing you on the air to a lucrative Fired Up Network contract?
Hey, Joe, I'm happy to discuss. You'll have to contact my people. My people can talk to your people.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, there's
here. All I know is when I call you, you answer and we talk. So you're the person to talk to.
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, I'm entertaining lots of options and have lots of options, which is, just really exciting. I'm at a really exciting point in my career where, I've got a lot of valuable wisdom, that's in this brain. Some people would say it's valuable. Some people would say it was crazy. Some people would say it's not valuable. But, there's plenty of people out there in women's sports that do value a commodity that's been there for 40 years. And I just feel like at this point in my life, I am having so much fun and there's so much opportunity out there. And for all the years that I've grown in women's sports, the time is now. And I didn't think it would ever come in my lifetime, but the time is here. You're seeing the world championships on TV. You're seeing all sorts of cool stuff going on in soccer, and women's basketball is off the charts. I mean, it's an exciting time for women in sports. And, I'm sorry to say that I won't be with BTM, but there's going to be so many more opportunities on the horizon that I just can't wait to to keep it rocking. And I wore this shirt today on behalf of USA. I hope you see this, and I hear that you may have another guest on the show that might beg to differ. So
Yeah,
that's
she'll
why
be
I
on
wore
here.
that.
She'll be
Oh
on
yeah,
here in a few minutes. But
yeah.
let me get to this, and this is serious business here. Did your Murphy, like I always say, and I know you're gonna laugh, but seriously, the Don Cherry of ladies hockey. But forget about Don Cherry for a second and all that. She has, like she said, 40 years of experience, and she's a trendsetter. Like, for people who don't know who Digit Murphy is and all that, she is a trendsetter beyond belief here. Okay, so when you say, okay, you're leaving the other organization, no hard feelings, no anything, but what is left in 40 years? You have done everything here, Digit. Like, the honest truth is, you have done everything here. What is left? Because when you, and I'm going to say this honesty, and we haven't talked off air and all that, when you set your mind to something, I don't care if it's hockey, I don't care if it's lacrosse, I don't care if it's ladies wrestling, I don't care if it's mud wrestling, I don't care if it's swimming pool action, I don't care, whatever. All right, you go at it a million, not 100%, a million%. So just
Yeah.
give the viewers and listeners a sneak peek in what's in that head, where you're leaning towards.
So yeah, thanks, Joe. I it's just it's a fun time again. You get up and you one door closes and so many more open for me. And some of the things that I really want to do is impact women in the leadership space, and it doesn't have to be in hockey, but in sports and in life, women women can thrive if they have the opportunity. So when you look at like the Final Four basketball, right? All those viewers that watched, those wonderful women, from LSU and Iowa play, and the drama behind it and the coaches' stories. I don't believe we've still yet hit that peak in hockey. I want to continue to grow the exposure of hockey. I want to continue to grow the marketing of the sport, the ticket sales, the merch, the sponsorship opportunities, and I'm going to be committed to that. Hopefully in hockey, but there are some other opportunities out there. But when you look at the professional realm of hockey, you got the PWHPA and you got the PHF, right? PWHPA doesn't have a league; they have players. PHF has a league and players. I would love to help unite that if there's any opportunity. Billie Jean King, call me right now. I mean, let's talk. Let's trailblaze together to try to unite, the brands. And if not, there's other opportunities in other sports, Joe. The travesty about sports sometimes is that whole women not supporting women. That's another thing that I'd like to continue to grow. You have, I mean, the PHF, all women sports, they're so young. They have so many people in them that don't have experience, right? How do we continue to mentor and lead that population to a place that gets them quicker to the experience that I had to get in 40 years? And you don't just wake up one morning and be a GM or a head coach at a top level. It takes time, it takes experimentation, it takes mentoring, it takes leadership. And I think young women need to understand that, and understand that just because they have the position, young and old, doesn't mean they actually are that yet. And there's a lot of teaching to do, there's a lot of leading to do, there's a lot of mentoring to do, and there's a lot of positive energy that I want to impart on these people who don't have the experience yet. And I'm like a butterfly. I'm going to flit around and I'm going to have fun because I'm in the best years of my life right now, and I'm having a lot of fun. And that's why I'll come on your show anytime. We can have a show. Let's do
All
a
right, I'll give
show.
you a show. I'll give you a show. But
All right, let's
here's
go.
something that
Let's go.
I here's something that I always ask on the guy side. But I just thinking about this. You mentioned Billie Jean King, okay? Yourself, Billie Jean King, Oprah Winfrey,
In
okay?
the same sentence. Let's just go
No,
right
no,
there.
no.
Like,
I'm gonna put it
she
in the same.
literally like started started tennis. She's
No,
an
but I'm
icon.
going to put it in the same sentence because, okay, these minds, I don't care if they're male, female, but they're female. Get it all together and let's start a revolution about female sports, about hockey, baseball, football, basketball, everything. Because I urge the Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, LeBron James, Tom Brady, even though he's retired, but you know what I'm saying. Get these guys in a room and let's think outside the box because these guys were the top of the top of the top. The ladies were top of the top. I'm sure one of these ladies can see where the future is, know how to get there, and they have a little bit, like I say, Digit, a little bit of shekels behind them. All right, so and people involve because the I don't know if you know this, but the world is a revolves around this, right? The more money we have here, the greater.
It's
Sure, we're
all
gonna
about
have.
the money, money, money.
All right, are you
All
gonna
about the
start singing
money,
it?
money,
Like do I
money.
have to back the
All
Toronto
about the
Six?
money, money,
All right,
money. Hey, yeah,
so
I'm
so
back. I'm back to Digit Murphy, Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen, ABBA. Come on, give me some ABBA. All right, so why not have like a summit with the top ladies and the top men, and let's see what we could do. But hold that thought because Digit, you said one of the you're wearing the shirt because of this lady here. All right, go
Oh,
ahead,
man.
Sure. Go ahead, go ahead.
USA, USA, USA versus Canada and the rest of the world in the IHF. What's up, T Woods?
Not
T Woods in the
much.
house.
How about you?
I miss you. I miss you.
miss
I
you
miss
too.
the T6.
No, hold on, DJ.
Congratulations.
You're not doing it justice here.
Congratulations.
Hold on. Michael Buffer's calling me right now. Ladies and gentlemen, watching around the world, this is a two-time hockey champion and a strong man champion for Arnold Schwarzenegger, Taylor Woods. Name, like I said, you're the queen of hockey. Name somebody else who is a hockey champion and a week earlier becomes an Arnold Schwarzenegger
No,
champion.
there is no one like Taylor Woods in the world. Taylor knows that. I've worked with Taylor for the last, I missed her last year. Like for the first 2 years, we worked tirelessly, not only in hockey projects, but in business projects. Taylor's one in a million. And something you don't know about Taylor Woods, which she knows I'm going to say, is she can shoot righty and lefty in a Division I hockey game. Anyone, and a pro game, anyone that can do that, I'm giving her, I'm worshiping. So Taylor Woods, no one like Taylor Woods. Okay, we're in the Taylor Woods fan club.
Wow, thank you.
First of all, I knew that because Taylor told me she shoots right and left. Second of all, okay, when you're coaching Taylor, right? When you're coaching Taylor, she's an assistant captain and all that. And Taylor, I'll get to you in a second, but Digit, how good does she see the ice? And how come, if I'm the coach here, how come I don't put her in front of the net because she can move anybody in front of the net, easy goals, tipping, whatever. Come on.
So you saw with T Woods what she does extra special, and you didn't see it all year. You saw it in season 6 when Digit Murphy coached Taylor Woods. Okay, what Taylor's really great at is joining the rush and getting that second wave. And when she scored that game tying goal, that was the difference between a championship and not a championship, because Taylor was going to literally pick up the person that was in the crease, put her whole body in, and the puck and the goalie, because she was not taking no. She was scoring that goal, and that's why that started right there. Is why the T6 got to overtime and beat Minnesota, because 5-on-5, it was a rough go for the T6 that whole game. So you got to give Minnesota credit, but Taylor Woods, the difference maker, and then bingo bango, got Banasova scoring that game winner. So I don't know. In my head, I just play it back like
No, hold on. Taylor wouldn't even give me. It was me, the difference maker, where I told the world about 6 weeks ago, Taylor Woods would score the game-winning goal to win the Isabel Cup, and I was so close. It was so close.
You were close.
But if she didn't score, there would be no Isabel Cup. Maybe.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying. But Taylor, let me ask you this question. I mentioned she like the female Don Cherry and all that. What was it like to play? It must be pressure, but what was it like to play under Digit Murphy?
There's no pressure because she just let us play. It's her sort of just style. It's like, hey, these are the systems. No, it's just, hey, you just let them flow. And I remember there's the one time, yes, okay, the mini hands, but I was just like in my head a little bit on the bench, and she just picks up on that, and it's just like on like little whiteboard or little was the lineup card. It's just like T Woods, and then she turned it towards me. I sort of look. Took me like 10 seconds to try to read it. I don't know why. I'm like focused on the game, I guess. And then just gave me a little bit of smile, and like that's pretty much all that I need. So no, she knows how to press the certain buttons of players. She knows how to get her players going and motivated for the game. And it's that team game, right? You got to work together, and that's what she brought for sure. That's the number one out of many things that she did.
Are you like? And I'm gonna be, Digit. We spoke about this for years. Okay, are you a little bit not annoyed, disappointed because the first year when she was coaching you, it looked like you guys are winning the Isabel Cup, but then COVID happened and everything like that. As a player, I know I talk to Digit about this all the time, but as a player, did you want to win it for Digit Murphy? Did you want to win it for Toronto? Now that you won it already, you could tell me the truth, Taylor. You could tell me the truth already. Now that you won it, you're a champion. Come on.
Pretty much everyone that went into that, like everyone that's put like a foot or just sort of blood and sweat tears into the organization. All the players from the season one, president season one, all the staff and everything, they had sort of a heart in what was or what is the T6. So, Digit, messaged some of the core group at the start, is like, hey, you know what, go get them. You got it. And
finish them.
we won that championship.
In the first year, with Digit as the coach, you can't blame anybody, COVID and all that, but I could blame two people. Digit, it's the truth. You don't want to say it, I'll say it. Blame Kipling, Marty Roberts, okay? Kipling, Marty Roberts, and blame some guy, Levine, all right? He wasn't up to snuff. Those are the two players. By the way, Taylor, did you get me some swag from that party you had last Sunday here for when you won the Isabel Cup? Did you get some swag or what?
We did get some swag. We got a little swag bag of just some merch from Athleta.
Not for you, for me. Forget about you. You're getting a ring. You're gonna. First of all, are you a free agent? You're gonna sign millions and millions of dollars. If you don't, you're still on the Fired Up Network making millions and millions. But let me ask you, what was the best thing in the swag bag?
You're gonna put me on the spot, and honestly,
Digit likes it when I put people on the spot. Come on.
Okay, no, not gonna lie, it's still sitting in the front seat of my car right now. I took Sunday, I enjoyed Sunday, and then I was like, I gotta get back to work on Monday, so it's still sitting there. But right now, it's
Taylor doesn't care about things. She just cares about the experience that she has and training. That's T Woods. So the swag bag just sits in the car.
I'll take the swag.
If there was a dumbbell in there, maybe I would curl
Marty
that
Roberts
all the way
there,
home.
all right? Marty Roberts would not be there. But listen, Digit, how is it like to coach a champion in Taylor, but also now a strong woman champion? In your wildest dreams, in coaching for 30, 40 years, could you ever imagine that?
I couldn't, but like T Woods was one of the initial. So when we built the T6, we built them on founding members. And I had known about T Woods because, she's a Cornell Big Red, just like I am, and followed her career. And I knew she was in the area and she played in the C-Dub. So T Woods was one of my go-tos when I started to pick the team, because it was a very difficult time. If you remember, we started the team during COVID. We started it when we were coming into enemy territory. So, just another job for Digit Murphy. Like, in there, we didn't have reps, we didn't have coaches, we didn't have a GM, we didn't have a rank, but Dig, go take care of that. Oh yeah, no problem, we got this. And you got to give Mandy Cronin credit. She was there. She helped with the arena. She had already worked in the NWHL. But the player selection and the way that I always build a team is with a great core group, because great core group people are the foundation of great organizations. And we hadn't really actually finished building it out in the rivers, just side note, but it's okay. So we built this great founding members of the Toronto Six, Taylor being one of them. And then it's very simple. You rely on those founding members that you trust and you believe in and that will go to war with you, and you build out the rest of the team with them. It's not about me being the coach that sits on the bench and is like, Taylor, Taylor, you suck. Taylor. It's like, yo, T Woods, what's happening? You doing okay? How you doing down there? T Woods is mad because, she broke her stick on a shot and it, bounced it off, and now it's a breakaway because whatever. But whatever it was, it's hockey. There's so many mistakes. But anyways, so when you build that kind of rapport with your players right from the get-go, you build it together, then they play like together. And you don't even have to coach them. You just have to steer them in the right direction. And that's the other thing. We were talking about this earlier, Joe. It's so easy to coach adult, great women. Coaches complicate it. Coaches mess it up. That's one of the things I want to help other women coaches learn. Guys, honestly, guys just go in there like, do this, do that, do this, do that. And women are like, okay. The second you put a woman on the bench, it's like, I don't know so much about this person. And so it's really more about relationship building and trust in each other. And that's why I think that, I want to do a little more mentoring and coaching and leading, because the world needs that right now. Women need that right now. I want to have Taylor be able to go be a coach and not ever get questioned. So that was a little bit about our rapport, our relationship, how I think coaches should lead as women. And Taylor was just a bang up competitor, heads down every day, doing the work, leading by example. And there's very few people like T Woods in the world. And I was so happy to be able to coach her for a year.
All right, so I'll go the other way. Taylor, what was the number one thing you learned from Digit?
There was just
only one thing.
Question.
There is a lot.
Man,
I was just
losing. Come on.
Well, honestly, she just follows her heart. She, like, if you see every project that she helps out with, like, it has just layers of people that are affected, and she does that with open arms, and she does that through just her care and compassion, and that's just who she is. And yeah, you can just sort of see just the full energy of how she talks, and just like, it's just everywhere, and it lights up the room, it lights up the people, and it has an effect, right? She's been gone for the T6 for just a season, and you can still sort of see the effect that she had. So she just makes that impact on people and organizations.
All right, Taylor, I'm going to ask you this.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Can I just say one thing?
Digit does not want to ask this, okay? Hold on, Digit. Listen. Digit,
all right, I'll be quiet.
Digit just texted me. She doesn't want to ask this, but Taylor, you're a strongman. Where's the gold medal, by the way? You're the strongman winner. You're the champion here. Teach Digit to do a clean jerk of maybe 100 pounds. Teach her, but I want you to motivate her. I want you to be strict with her. This is your time. After all the sandbagging, go back and forth at Canada Ice Sports. Come on, you got to have some pissed off anger at Digit to teach her to lift up, be a champion in strongman.
It's called relationship building, and you have to be with the bar. You have to it's barbell whispering, right? So you gotta trust. It's an elegance.
Am I listening to Digit Murphy here or what? But no, honestly, you saw at the beginning of this. I don't know if you saw it or heard. She has moved on from the Riveters. Okay, where do you think Digit Murphy fits in best? Is it in the suits, in the GM role, in the president role, or you could see the passion, you feel the passion as a coach, and I don't want to be behind the bench also as the assistant coach, because that will scare me. But go ahead, where do you think she fits in the best?
You know what, she could do anything. So that's that's probably one of the toughest questions, and you could she could do anything. So I'm not sure.
All
I'm
right.
literally not sure at all.
And I'm going to ask this to Digit here. Honestly, I'm going to be totally honest. I know your answer already. So you go from, ladies hockey and all that. Why hasn't nobody? I don't know. Maybe somebody has, but I'm going to say nobody from the NHL, the National Hockey League, dialed your number and said, "Hey, you want to be a coach? You want to be assistant coach? You want to be a GM?" There's already people moving, ladies moving into the National Hockey League. Imagine Digit Murphy being a coach or whatever of the National Hockey League. And I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this because Taylor, I'm going also here with something else. Who would be one of your top defenseman picks if you started an expansion team in the National Hockey League? Would it be ladies or men or both?
Was that towards me?
No, Digit.
Oh, okay. I think that women need me more. I think that men have all the resources. They have all the people that care about them. They have the fan support. I had one time thought about crossing over and coaching men's hockey at Brown because it was at the time I felt it was the only option because I couldn't move. I had a family that I couldn't move, so I'm like, hey, why not coach men? And I got an interview. This was way before women even got anything. I think it's like 2007, 2008. So I was a little before my time, but I know I can coach men because I think that men. I could argue that men need a little softer approach, and I think women in general have a softer approach to the bench. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never coached men, but I have coached my sons in life, and I've coached my son's little lacrosse team, and they just want to hear instruction. But I think for women, I think it's really important for me to stay involved because they need to get a woman's voice as a leader. We're still struggling. Women still take down other women. Women still have that tall poppy syndrome. You go read about the tall poppy syndrome. It's like the tallest poppy, you gotta cut it
And why is
down
that?
to be
Why is
even with
that?
everyone else.
Why is that? And how can we? Or I'm going to say we, but can you guys improve on that? Because we hear it all the time.
Well,
The women take out the women.
yeah, it's kind of been ingrained in our. I think this is my personal opinion. Everyone thinks it's about DNA and all this. I don't believe that at all. I think we've been socialized this way. I think we have been we've had less resources throughout the course of existence. We're the original marginalized population. I think that we have been under male dominance for 2,000 years. And I think that we're finally getting out into a place where we feel comfortable. We're on our own. We have our own paychecks. Let's not forget, people. Women could not earn a living without having their husband's name on a bank account in the 50s, right? It was crazy. Like my grandmother could not have a bank account because she had to have her husband's name on it. Okay. So we've just come of age where you saw like the women are finally making billions. There's not many of us. So there's a long way that we still have to go. We still have to climb. And that's what I'm trying to continue to do. With Taylor and I, Taylor worked with me in season 6. We were working on a startup where we were trying to get more women in the C-suite. That kind of fizzled out because my job got way too busy. But there's a void in the financial system. There's a void in women leaders, and it all starts with supporting each other. So how can we help? No matter what happens, when women tear you down, you got to continue to build other women up. And you may not have won on those women that took you out at the knees. And trust me, they're everywhere. But there are women that do support women. Taylor Woods is one of them. Cheyenne D'Arcangelo, Emma Woods. I could name all of the Toronto Six. Elaine Chuley, Emma Greco. Those real good people who started with the Six early are the true champions, the true women who support women, and we just have to do more of that.
So I'm going to ask first Digit, and then I'll go to Taylor here. What season is this? Season 8 for the PHF?
Yep.
All right.
We're going into 9.
Going into 9. All right. Where would you like, and I'll ask Digit here, if around the world, give me 2 or 3 more teams that you think in 5 years PHF is going to be at? Where do you think they can be and can be successful?
Ottawa. I think Canada. We have to expand to Canada more because let's face it. Look at what the T6 did. Look what Montreal did. Canada is hockey. Okay, in the U.S., we are behind football, baseball. Soccer is coming up on us. We're number 4. Okay, soccer is starting to come up. So, you've got problems in the U.S. I think with hockey in general. I mean, we've done a great job in hockey to continue to expose the brand, but more candidates. Saskatchewan, Calgary.
Taylor's on the show. Say Winnipeg. Say Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. She knows better than me. And I look at Chicago. You gotta put franchise in Florida because it's everyone, all the northern people are migrating down there. They're talking about Washington. You saw that thing in the Twitter yesterday or whatever it was, Instagram, saying the PHF is alive and well. I mean, and I don't know about out west, you guys. I just don't know because of the travel and all that. I think it's gonna go more in the original 6. Could be Detroit. Like, think about all those franchises that were popular back in the day. And that's where I think those franchises are going to go. But who knows? I mean, I've thought about things like, this is crazy, but I've thought about, why don't we just have like 4 franchises within distance of each other in upstate New York and all those amateur rinks? Or why wouldn't we put like a division like down south, like in Atlanta and Florida and Alabama, where people don't even know about hockey and make them go crazy? So, I think that, you talked about it earlier. Why don't we work with the NHL? I'm going to tell you why. You work with them, but this is why we're never going to solve the problem. Because there may be a different fan base for women's sports. When we just continue to think about that traditional mindset and model, and you don't reach for different opportunities, you're never going to grow into that blue ocean strategy. Like, why do we want to swim with the sharks, right? Why don't we look at other markets that we never thought of, and maybe they'll just be like, holy crap, this is kind of fun. I never even knew hockey existed. So, I really think it's about ingenuity. It's about creativity. It's about leading in a different direction. And I think women's sports can do that. So I know that's a long answer to a short question, but these are the things that I think about all the time.
So, Taylor, you are now a Toronto hockey champion. Mm-hmm. We can't say that since 1967. All right, a professional Toronto hockey champion. I don't care what you say about the Marlies, because for people who have emailed me or whatever, the Marlies are AAA team. They're not a professional team. They're the farm team of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who haven't won anything since Digit was 4. All right, put it that way. Okay, so now let me ask you something. How? And I'm going to say this, Taylor, I want to hear the paparazzi, the red carpet and everything. How has your life changed now that you're a professional hockey champion?
It honestly, like, the amount of interviews that I got this week has been a lot. I've had 1 day of rest from interviews, which is pretty insane, but it's been good. People are like, when I go back to like even the gym or workplace, it's like, oh, I saw you on TV, and I like hockey because at least it's like I know people playing. So it's been pretty cool.
What was the best and worst question that you had somebody asked you?
Oh man. Well, you get us like, oh, like how are you feeling, like and everything. The worst question, more is like, oh, so like what's going on for next year, because I don't know. And yeah, it's just been like all over the place. Minor hockey, like going, it's like, oh, when did you start skating? Had those questions all along the hockey career. And then just activities that the T6 are doing now. So yeah, nothing too bad or out of the ordinary.
Okay, so I'm going to switch it a little bit here. I got Digit Murphy, the icon in ladies hockey, and two-time champion hockey, and a strong woman champion. And by the way, Digit has never seen your gold medal. Where is it?
It's downstairs.
Oh
it's
my
downstairs.
God, I should have reminded you.
I saw it on Instagram.
You need to see it live. Anyways, we're in the Women's World Championship in Brampton here. All right. First of all, a question from Patricia, and this is serious. Okay, Taylor, it's for you. How come Taylor's not on the championship women's world championship team for Canada, for Sweden, for anybody? So Taylor, go ahead.
Well, if it's another country, I guess I would have to have citizenship.
Winnipeg
But
is in another country. Who goes to Winnipeg anyways? Come on.
yeah, some like Finland, I guess, citizens there. But yeah, just I don't know.
If
I
somebody
did.
asked
There
you,
was
would you play? Because, like I said, 10 days ago, you won the Strongman. Then you won the Isabel Cup. If somebody asked you, would you have played in the World Championship? Or do you need a mentally break?
no. I let's just keep going, right? I'm on a high. We could keep going, right? You got that championship mindset, and you just play to win.
All right, so here, Digit, hold on. Taylor is Canadian. Oh, Canada. You have a USA shirt. Tell me why, and I want heat here. I want to fight. Come on. Tell me why, Taylor, Canada is going to be. There's really, I know there's Finland, there's Sweden and all that, but really it's going to come down to Canada and America. All right? Tell me why Canada's going to beat America yet again in ladies hockey.
You know what? Like over the last 3-4 years, they stuck with the same development model for both teams. And you know what? The U.S. are trying to find that young blood. Is like, hey, you know what? We want that energetic youth coming through. And you could even see, I think it's like 22, 23 average age, whereas Canada is like approaching 28 because they've also got the same team. So it's like, hey, you know what? We want to build up this cohesion. We have this group environment that we like. And they're going into it, and I think they just know where each other are. They could make passes when they're blindfolded and stuff, I guess, on the ice. But it's just going to come down to, I guess, that veteran presence and that overall, right, that championship mindset. So how many people have, or how many players have won on the U.S. team? That would be my only fault. Like, not sure how many, even though they do have a very high caliber team. But Canada knows everyone on that roster.
All right, tell me, Digit, why USA is going to beat Canada in the final.
I think that I don't really know who's going to win. I'm just going to go out and say that. I'm not going to say no. And I think Taylor brings up some good points.
Canadian station.
Well, here's why. Okay, Taylor brought up some really good points, and I think that USA is playing the long game. I think not that they don't care about the World Championships, but I think they want to win the Olympics again. They're giving a lot of people, to Taylor's point, some opportunity. Of course, they want to win the World Championships. I honestly don't know, like, if they get a bonus if they win. Maybe they do. But I think at the end of the day, they've got a new coach. You know, they've got, just different players in the roster. And it's really going to, and you guys know this, it's one game. You know what it's going to come down to. Goaltending. Like, let's face it. It's all about the goalie. It's all about the goalie. It's all about the officials. Like, it's one game. That's what's so great about hockey. Who's showing up and who's going hard. And sometimes you can't even imagine the things that happen. Taylor knows. You could have a whole stomach flu go through the Canadian team, and next thing you know, the U.S. wins, and no one knows that under the covers. No one. So
I actually
one game.
During the final game, like, we were warming up and it was like nice turf outside. We were like finishing up with our sprints, and I had a bug. I actually ran into a bug full tilt and it hit my eye. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was sitting in front of the fan, like between each period, just trying to get like my eye flushed out. And it's like, well, you never know.
Listen, that was the last game. You scored a goal. I'm sending you bugs all over next year.
I agree. All bugs to Taylor Woods. I agree.
All right. We have a question from Richard Lewis. I'll start off with Digit here. His question is, who's the greatest player you ever coached?
Oh my gosh.
A lot of players.
With?
Whoa. And what was the second part?
And or played with. And or played with.
You know, so I don't know if you know this, but I just coached so many Olympians. It's really a hard choice because the different eras and the different times. I'd say early on in my career, probably no one even knows this, that I coached Becky Keller. Becky Keller played at Brown, 5-time Olympian. She came in as a forward. I made her a D, and the rest is history. I think she was one of the tops. I tried to get Cheryl Pounder to come to Brown. I couldn't get her to come. I've coached Cami Granado, with the national team back in the late 80s. She was great. I've coached Katie King, who's a 4-time Olympian. God, it's such a hard thing. I've coached Tara Mounsey, who got injured, had a career-ending injury, which was really sad because she was probably on track to be like the Ray Bork of women's hockey. And then, more recently, just to be able to coach Hillary Knight and Megan Duggan and all those guys with the Blades. I'm gonna have to say my all-time favorite people to coach, and this is on none of those people, is Allie Brewer. She played goalie for us, and she was the first Kazmaier Award winner for Brown University, and she never went to the Olympics. Now she's an executive out with a sports company, and she was an amazing competitor and athlete, and she didn't go on. So Allie Brewer is a surprise pick from Digit Murphy at this point in time, when I've coached all these Olympians. And, of course, Taylor Woods, you can't say anything about her. And then, one other person that I really loved coaching. Oh, my God, I can't even believe all these people. I coached Kelly Stack, was one of the all-time favorites. Unbelievable in the locker room. Just a coach's coach, a player's coach, Blake Bolden. I mean, Jesus, I don't even know, Caitlin Cahow. And then these kids on the T6, like Shy and Woodsy and in China. It was just a crazy time. Nora Ratu. I mean, I don't know. There's just so many freaking great people I got to coach. So I don't know, Richard. There's just too many to count. But
Taylor, your same question to you then.
How many people that I've played with?
Who's the best player you played with, and in your estimation, who's the best player in your eyes? Period.
I actually got asked this on like a fast thing, and all of a sudden I just threw out Brianne Jenner just because like I've played with her at Cornell. She scored some unbelievable goals, like 0.3 seconds left on the clock. The type of person she is, the type of leader she is. And yeah, she's doing great things like for women's hockey and having her camps and still pushing forward. So I would say she's one of the best players I played with.
And would you say right now Marie-Philippe Poulin is the best player, period?
I haven't seen her play recently, so but yeah, definitely, like, she has the stick, she has the hands to score that goal. She has the tenacious fight. She's not afraid to take the battles in the corners. And yeah, it's hard to, like, let's get a league together and like actually see and compare across the charts instead of on these different stages.
All right, the next question. This is actually a good question. I'll ask Taylor first, but also I want to hear what Digit has to say to this one. But take me through a day in the life of Taylor Woods here, because obviously strongman, hockey player, and all that. Take us through, because when you play hockey, you still have to lift up weights and you go to the gym and everything like that, or no?
Yeah, I still do like training on the side for my strongman stuff. Like a typical day in the life of maybe like a Thursday when it was in season would be like waking up at like 4:45 to travel into practice at 8 a.m. Toronto traffic is not the best. So practicing 9:30, I would actually travel back to my gym, train there, do my session. Then it's more just work at that point. So in the season, I was just doing some coaching and skating treadmill stuff. So doing some coaching, making sure I'm eating, and then just get back to sleep, just because we would travel on Fridays. But Wednesday would pretty much look like the same day. So the back-to-back mornings were very tough.
All right, so Digit has to leave now.
Oh, Jesus.
She's taking a phone call from Gary Bettman. But any last comments, Taylor, that you want to say to Digit, and then the same thing to Digit? So go ahead, Taylor, first.
No, this is like great, because I think the last time I saw you was like maybe in Toronto. We played Metropolitan very early on in the season. So And I'm very excited to see what's going on next, because literally you could do anything. So as soon as like I heard news, I'm like, oh, like you could do anything.
You're begging for a job here. You're begging to play for the best player, the best coach, the best GM, the best president, the best of
Strange things
everything.
could happen. Don't never say never. I'm just tickled to death to be on a show with Taylor. One of my all-time favorites, a player that doesn't works so hard. Like there's no one can outwork Taylor Woods. I'm sorry. She's just a worker bee. Strong. And I'm just really excited to potentially get back together with Taylor and maybe work together in the future. She'll be my first call when, and everyone else will be like, I can't believe you said Taylor's going to be your first call. I thought I would be your first call, but hey, we're on a show.
Well,
Taylor Woods, you're going to be my first call. And then you're
call.
going to be the president of the provinces.
All right, here.
I end up with doing a team in Thailand.
Before you go,
Thailand, you can come.
I got to ask you this, Digit, before you go. She is a champion now, but she needs a repeat championship. Can you motivate, because I don't know if you're going to be on the air again, okay? Motivate Taylor to win the Isabel Cup, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not like have a 2-4. Come on. Motivate her so she remembers this day, April 6th, okay, the day before Good Friday.
Here's what you don't understand, Joe, okay? Everyone thinks, and you can't help yourself because this is all you know. Everyone thinks motivating is just what you said. Come on, let's go. Yeah, you know.
I didn't say that.
Sometimes. Yeah, you were. You're like, motivate her, do this, right?
This is how
here's how you do it. Do you want to hear how I do it or what?
Yeah.
Go down to T Woods and you whisper in her ear. T Woods, that's what you got to do. Don't stop. And it's really just about leading them into the direction. And it's not about one word. It's about treating people with kindness, respect, and giving them the game to play in an organized way. When you're with those kind of people, all you have to do is inspire them. All you have to do is expect the high level of championship play, and they will go to the bar that you raise for them. It's like I said, I am so misread and misconstrued because I'm probably the nicest coach probably that Taylor ever played for. And she'll be like, and I'll be like, no, Digit was such a jackass and Brown and all this. And maybe I was back in the day. But now, you know, you get a very different Digit Murphy on the bench coaching pros because they don't need to be yelled at. They just need to be inspired. So I would just try to inspire, you know, Taylor Woods by just giving her the words that she needs. It's not that hard because Taylor's inspired every day.
Taylor, you couldn't ask her this. She texts me and she says, "When's Digit going to invite me to the swimming pool there?" So go ahead, Digit.
There it is behind me. Anytime, T Woods, come on down.
Good.
All right. Hey, I got a buzz. I still haven't eaten dinner, and my day is getting up early and intermittent fasting till about noon, and then I'm on the phone constantly, and I got to start. I'm usually in bed by now, you know, by 9 o'clock. So gotta go get some food.
I know.
Peace, love, dub,
Taylor,
guys.
Hold on,
love
2 minutes, but thank you.
Love you.
That's Digit.
Bye.
Digit, thanks a lot.
Where am I going? Okay, no problem. Bye.
And remember, Canada will beat USA in the final. All right.
No, USA. Cut me off.
All right. Thanks a lot, Digit. All right. So we got a couple seconds more with Taylor Woods. The reason to have you on here for the last couple seconds here is take us through Sunday when all joking aside, you won the championship and all that. Then the fans at Canline Ice Sports, and then you were invited to, I guess, the Maple Leaf game, Mississauga Ice. I don't even know if you went or whatever, but you're also going to be invited to the Blue Jays. I think next Sunday, April 16th or whatever. You're going to the Blue Jays, right? I need swag from the Blue Jays, okay? Yeah. So, but take us through when you go into your arena, your home arena, Canline Ice Sports, and people are there to see you, to appreciate what you have done, to watch the Isabel Cup, to, you know, how rewarding of a feeling that actually for a hockey player and, you know, strong woman, that you went there, you accomplished your goal in strong women, accomplished your goal in hockey, and the fans really were out to honor you.
Yeah, and you know what? We were in that building. Maybe not like it was a little bit different during the pandemic, but like that's our home ice. So
Yeah.
coming back to the fans and saying like, hey, you know, like we did it. We played half our season there, so it's like, hey, we did it. We couldn't do it without you. Was amazing, and just seeing just the regular faces in the stands and seeing just how much enthusiasm they had and how much passion and give that they had it's just outstanding, and it's a growing fan base. So it's just, hey, like here's the little bit of reward that we got. We got it, and we're just gonna keep bringing this cup back. So it's a nice feeling.
And how has your, like you talked about thousands of interviews and all that, right? When now has it sunk in that when I see double champion, Arnold champion, and then a week later a hockey champion, like I like to see when they say everybody tries to do the daily double there. I like to see people try to do that double, a hockey champion and an Arnold champion in a week
Well,
span.
yeah, yeah, you know, like people try to even just get one, right? It's like, okay, like can you win um like a hockey championship in their lifetime, or just like Arnold, or even a strong woman championship in their lifetime, and a lot of them can't. And it's like, hey, I did it in 1 month, which is uh it's insane. I looked
Incredible.
at it and it's like it's something that I wanted to do like at the start of the season. It's like, hey, you have this opportunity to do it, and in December I was like, okay, let's go. Let's eyes on the prize. We could do them both. I have belief in myself, belief in my team. I had a lot of support there in both sports. So, and then just both communities. Literally, it's just like I felt open arms with both. So it's really nice. It's sunk in.
So when you win the Arnold, are you invited back without anything for years to come, or is that like every year you have to try out again?
Um, so a little bit different. I can't go in my weight class. If I want to go up a weight class, I would have to try to show it's like, hey, you know what, I could compete heavier. But I do have a chance to get invited to their pro woman show. Um, it is it there's a chance, very slim chance. Just a lot of those women are very strong. They're very prestigious, and they weigh a little bit more than I do. So at the show, I was 140. Usually walk around like 150, 152. And a lot of those women are closer to 200. So it's a little bit out of my reach, but you could just try to lift weight and just be stronger.
All right, and let's get to a couple final questions with Taylor Woods here. Uh, the year end, did you have your year end meetings? Did they tell you, okay, we expect you to come in shape? Or they like take us through, take the fans through, okay, you won the championship. Then what happens when you talk to the coaches?
Yeah. It's had the year end meeting, just exit meeting, just sort of saying like, hey, how the year went, pros and cons, about my play, just more centric around uh, my performance. And then, yeah, obviously there's, well, I guess not obviously to some, but free agency period for our restricted free agency period happens between April 3rd and April 11th, where your team could talk to you to sign a contract with you just inclusively. And then it opens up April 12th to everyone. So sort of just in the process of just different team meetings, different personnel meetings over the next few days.
So if they give you a contract right now, would you sign it?
There's, you know what, the women's hockey space is very chaotic. So last year I put the pen to paper right away. But I sort of want to respect my time, especially after winning a championship, and just respect just making the right decision for myself. I do have a representative this year, which is nice. From a player's perspective, like you always sort of want someone to vouch for you, to show you sort of what's right and wrong, having that third party. And yeah, it's always something where it's like, hey, here's the contract, food for thought, make the best decision so then you could be the best during the season.
What's the greatest thing you learned this season?
The greatest thing.
Lesson, the greatest, because when you look at this was a championship season. Oh, I'll remember this because I won the cup. But nobody talks about what it took to win the cup. Maybe it's a greater, like, well, you were in strongman, like great pushing yourself when like you talked about the championship, bee or bug in your eye, like you don't know, like these sort of stuff that you knock on wood, you stayed healthy and all that, and you captured both championships. But what was the greatest, I guess, thing you learned and greatest challenge you had?
Okay. Well, I guess okay. I'll sum this. I'll put it into a bit of perspective. So, first thing I would do is just like confidence. Like you could have confidence in yourself and efficacy. So belief in your actions. So, definitely that strengthened throughout the season, working on both, and just sort of playing and just diving into just different aspects of my training on and off the ice. Going off and saying confidence, the mental aspect of the game is important. Like I know for me, like I'm a competitor and I know how to compete. So within the month of March, it's just like you've done all the practice, you've done all your training, you worked on the belief in your actions and all the actions put forward. So it's just like you do your job and you compete to the best of your ability. And then, yeah, the final thing would just be support, right? The team, obviously, you have support with. And then I did get a team for myself for the Arnold to help me out in different aspects of that training. So you always do more with not just with yourself. So always lean into that support.
And for those who don't know, Taylor will be back here. She's going to put on another hat. She's going to be an analyst during the Maple Leafs Stanley Cup run. Yes, I mentioned the Maple Leafs Stanley Cup run. I don't care if it's 7 games, 4 games, 274 games. I don't care. Taylor is going to be,
What is that
when
score
you
in the Bruins game tonight?
1-0
Is
Maple Leafs on the second period. I was going to
That's
get to that,
good.
but there you go. But let me ask you a question here. Okay, strong woman,
Mhm.
conquered that. Hockey champion, conquer that. Is broadcasting your next forte, and do you think you could conquer that? Because according to Marty Roberts, who just chimed in here, asked Taylor where her earphones are. Asked Taylor to not cover up her face there because she, it's hot covering up his face. He knows that he's Kipling or whatever. So is this the greatest challenge for you, being a hockey analyst on millions and millions of people watching you?
It's a breeze. You get to talk to the people out there that are listening, and you just speak to their hearts, and you speak the truth about how the Maple Leafs played, and that's that. You know what? I'll get my headphones. They were just not working. I actually tested them out earlier just to see if the mic was there. So I'd rather you guys hear me instead of try to think of what I'm saying. So they will come back, and I just want to wear a hat. I just came from work. And it sort of suits. Yes, you know what? I'm just trying to maybe hide my eyes from the bright lights in this big city of Beamsville, but it's yeah. Next time I just won't wear a hat then.
So, Taylor, honestly, you were on with Digit Murphy, okay? That first of all, I could see how great it was. 11, with you and Digit and all that. So it's a little bit intimidating when you're with the president of province of Canada. But let me ask you this: Digit Murphy, like I think I asked you, great coach, great hockey insider, great GM, great. Does she still have an eye for ladies hockey or what?
Yeah, for like she's worked in every aspect, right? So it's like now she has more pieces and more scopes to go within her or her own hockey DNA. So, yeah, she still has an eye.
All right. And final question here. This year finished. What can you improve on for next year?
This is like my exit meeting. Jeez, so
All right,
I'm
well,
kidding.
I'm the president. Come
Um,
on.
so everything this year, I think, was sort of the conjugate or opposite of what I didn't get of last year. So that with the combined 2 seasons, I feel like I'm a more complete hockey player. So obviously, I want to get back to my own game and my own craft. So in the off season, hockey per se, like I'm working a little more on my nervous system to get it more speed. I got a lot of power, got a lot of strength, and I prime that to have an influence more on my speed. So speed and the abilities of making decisions, speed in terms of shot selection, stick handling, all of that. So then I can impact the game at a faster rate on that individual skill. So I've worked a lot on team tactics, a lot on sort of those personal relationships in the game. So now it's time to sort of just dial into my skill and make it faster.
With all due respect, Taylor, the number one thing you're supposed to say is Joe, the president of the province of Canada, the mayor-elect of North America, soon to run for the mayor of Toronto, I'm going to score more than one goal next year. That's it.
Well,
That,
I said
that was
shooting and speed wise, right? So that should
not a speed.
encompass more goals, right?
You
I
could
didn't even
you
say
could be the
like,
fastest skater. You could be the fastest skater.
yeah.
You could be the fastest skater. By the way, I just read from Billy the Greek. He says he wants to have that thumb war with him. So any comments there? Are you ready for the challenging game of thumb war with a Greek?
I gotta save my thumbs for my training and my shooting because suppose I have to score more. Well, I do have to score more goals.
What do you mean? Supposedly, you have to score more goals.
I do have to score more
Supposedly,
goals.
yeah.
That
Listen,
one goal is probably worth 1,000. So
no,
I'll
that,
take
that
that.
one. In all honesty, that won the cup. All right, but
Mm.
but let me ask you this. Here's the final question: Toronto, sort of your city, your home city, and all that. If you don't sign here, I'm gonna say it. If you don't sign here, is winning the cup the best memory you have?
In Toronto,
Yeah.
that's hard to say. There's a lot of like in the dressing room sort of moments, adversity that we went through throughout the 3 seasons. Um, so adding up like a pinnacle of what I can remember for my 3 seasons in Toronto, uh, it's yeah, it's there's a lot to reminisce about.
And how far down is Martin, like meeting Marty Roberts and everything like that? Like, is it 1, 2, 3, 58, 59, or like, give us that.
There's no ranking there. There's no ranking.
All right, Taylor, tell everybody. We'll have you on maybe next week or 2 weeks when the playoffs start. But tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
I'm on Twitter at Tay_storm as it's going across the screen there, or you could find me on Instagram at Twoods Training.
All right, and what are you training? What's your next competition, or what? Take us through. What's next for you, other than being on the Fired Up Network and reviewing the Maple Leafs playoff games.
I'm making my coaches work hard. So at the end of May, I am planning on doing a powerlifting meet where I'm going to squat 400 pounds and run a 5:30 mile in the same day. The next week, I'm doing a strong woman competition it's a qualifier for the strongest woman in Canada. That will be in Niagara. So if you're close by, you can come see me rep out 405 pounds for deadlift. And then I'm heading to Colorado 2 weeks after that.
Strongest woman in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to wait? I'm going to ask you. Are you going to win that? Are you going to make me a three-time champion on the Fired Up Network here?
I will try my best. There's a lot
No,
that
not
goes on.
trying best. Win, win, win. What did we say? Just do it, Nike or whatever. Just win, baby. Come on, win. By the way,
And
we
there's
need more.
cash prizes in that too. So more
Oh,
incentive.
there's more swag there,
Mm-hmm.
eh?
And
There's
shoes.
more.
And shoes.
Oh, how many pairs of shoes can you get? Can you get me 1, 2,
Just
3, 10?
just one.
Only one. One shoe? What about the other shoe?
Well, yeah, a pair of shoes.
All right. So that's again just starting the third period. The Maple Leafs lead the Boston Bruins 1-0. Taylor will be back here in a week or 10 days to preview or to review the Maple Leafs playoffs. I'll ask you this: two things. Maple Leafs, how far they're gonna go, and Canada gonna win the Women's World, yes or no?
Uh, Toronto in 2 because the Bruins are just too tough for 7 games. Women's Worlds, I'm gonna say Canada. Just it's the easy choice.
All right. That's Taylor Woods. Thank you to Taylor. Thank you to Digit Murphy. Nobody else has this but the Fired Up Network. And Taylor, Go work out, do something. Like it's been an hour since you last did something. Come on, I need you to bench press Marty or something like that.
Yeah, no, I could do that. So
I could do that. Well, simply a great segment with Digit Murphy and two-time champion, one in Arnold strong woman, strong man competition, and one in professional hockey. And when you come back, Taylor, I need you all the time now to wear that gold medal. We got to flaunt that you're a champion. We got to, and did tell you in the exit meeting when you're going to get my ring.
no, I'm sorry.
When you're going to get your ring then?
No idea.
These people, Toronto 6 people. Justin, get on the case. Do they take a measurement like a size 6, size 7, or what?
They haven't even measured my finger.
Do you know what you are?
I think it's 7.5. Maybe
Right, so
maybe a little bit bigger.
I know people are watching for the Toronto 6 of this. She's a 7.5. I'll tell you next week what size I am, and both we need 2 rings. It better be gold. Better be gold. None of this fake crap that whatever. All right. Thanks a lot, Taylor.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's Taylor Woods, 2-time champion, one in strong woman, strong man Arnold, and one hockey champion. Of course, the big news: Digit Murphy no longer with the Metropolitan Riveters, and it was great to see Digit and Taylor enjoying some time together. Just starting the third period here at TD Garden in Boston. As mentioned, the Maple Leafs lead the Boston Bruins, and I'll get through some scores here. 1-0 end of second period. As I mentioned, Lafferty scored from Zach Aston Reese. 22 shots apiece for both teams. Florida pounding the Senators 6-1. End of second, Montreal leads Washington 4-1. Pittsburgh end of second leads Minnesota 2-0. New Jersey 4, Columbus 1. 4-4 tie at the end of second between Buffalo and Detroit. Islanders all over Tampa 3-0. And the rest are later on this evening. All right, so the return of North-South is coming up right now with good friends Ryan Payton and John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports. They will make their return right now. Here is John Freeman Nelson from the South, Atlanta. Ryan Payton from the North, here in Toronto.
Okay, well, we are back at it again. Ryan Payton, John Nelson, another edition of North-South. We catch up a little bit before we come on and do this. Or we start, okay. No. Wait.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sometimes you used to have another person, all right, because we go up and down, left, right, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, just be careful what finger you use.
I'd still mess it up. It's like, okay, wait a second. You're there.
Who?
Okay.
Left? Exactly. So how about this? You're there, I'm here.
Exactly.
And off we go.
Yes.
So we talk a little bit beforehand. We catch up a tiny bit, and John's going to be traveling again as he busy man. But I was saying, he said, okay, let's just let's turn it on, let's go forward, and let's rock it out. And I said, okay, we're going to begin with your favorite thing, the pitch clock in Major League Baseball. Can I just say this to you? Okay, let me just try to. First of all, you don't like it, I know that. So let me just try to convert you over.
You're not to this. Go ahead.
Wait. Okay, so through the opening weekend of the season, okay, so what's today? Today is Wednesday. So a couple of days ago, opening weekend is done. The average game time was 2 hours and 38 minutes, which was a 30-minute drop from last year's first 4 days of the Major League Baseball season.
Don't care.
Pitchers seem to like it. Manny Machado didn't like it the other day when he didn't get in the batter's box with 8 seconds to go, and he looked and said, "Hold on, wait, I'm adjusting my." Do you remember? Speaking of adjusting, do you remember Nomar Garciaparra?
Nomar?
Do you remember what left, pump? It just drove me crazy. Anyway, why don't you like the pitch clock?
Why should you confine thought to a time frame? Why should you confine time and strategy? Why should you confine strategy and thought to a time frame? Ever since you and I have started watching the game.
Yeah.
And this goes back to, you and I were there with Doubleday when he came up with the idea. Or at least I was. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't far behind.
No, but you look at the rules that we've always had. It's always about the strategy. It's always about spending an afternoon and letting the afternoon lazily go by. And, if there's a TV, if there's a commercial break, fine. It gives you time to go to the snack bar and do whatever and go to the concession stand.
Yeah.
Now, so now you've decided that, okay, we want the international softball tiebreaker to decide things in extra innings.
Mm-hmm.
No. You can't do a shift anymore. So once again, you take strategy out of play and understanding all of the groundwork that you do in all of your scouting.
Okay.
Basically, you're putting guys out of work in scouting departments. It's like, well, we don't need to, we don't have to worry about doing the damn shifting anymore. So we'll just take that and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
It's all counterintuitive to what we grew up with in the game for the sake of trying to make it more watchable for younger generations because of attention spans. The whole notion of baseball was to spend a lazy afternoon watching a baseball game, enjoying the experience, not make it sound like you're going to watch a movie like by the time that Top Gun Maverick is over and then the baseball game is over.
But these details, I think they're pretty small. Okay, the shift is I didn't like the shift anyway. I remember when Barry Bonds was playing, basically the shift was on the opposite side of the fence because that's where he usually hit the ball.
It's over there.
But the shift was to his right side because he always pulled the ball for the most part. I don't mind the shift not being there. And what I read to the other day, and this is interesting, and this is expected, Commissioner Rob Manfred, who I have my own thoughts.
That's another discussion.
You see, I just was going to say I have my own thoughts on him. And we both have our thoughts on him. Anyway, he is the commissioner, whether we like it or not, John.
Yeah.
So Rob Manfred, open to discussion, open to feedback, okay? From not just pitchers.
Feedback. Why don't you go use LinkedIn?
Right.
There's your feedback.
So the feedback to this notion of the pitch clock being put in and cutting down the time it takes to play a Major League Baseball game. What the pitchers are saying is add 2 to 3 more seconds. So get that to change the time between 15 seconds without runners to 17 seconds. And that could, though, roughly add 15 to 20 minutes a game, which would push the 238 that we had in the first weekend up to about 3.
Don't care.
So what baseball's trying to do, and you know this, for the last number of years, a lot of eyes have not been on Major League Baseball.
It's their own fault.
And that and the length of the game is probably the biggest reason why. So they want more eyes, which helps them down the road, helps them at the present time. I think there's nothing wrong with this. I think it's fine.
I think all of it is flawed. I think all of it is a flawed premise. It's a bad idea. And you're trying to find ways to sit there and make yourself more attractive. It's like, all right, so you're in your subdivision. They're in Office HD. I'm in my subdivision here.
Right.
All right, so here in my subdivision, here in the South, there is a recent idea among homeowners who have older homes. And I mean, these are homes that were built like in the 1970s and such. Right. And they're, single level and, they go this way. They don't go up. They go out. You have a lot of homeowners in our subdivision who are selling their homes and making out like bandits. And then you have the new developer come in and create this $800,000 eyesore because they look at the geography and go, hey, look, this is a great part of town. Everybody wants to live here. Let's tell you what, we're going to tear down that old house. We're going to make a new house. We're going to make it ugly as hell, and someone's still going to buy it. That's what you're getting at right now with Major League Baseball. They're sitting there and they're staring at that old house in the subdivision and going, okay, people like to come into our subdivision. They like to live where we're currently in. How do we make it more attractive for folks to come and live in our part of town? Hey, tell you what, let's take that 50-year-old house, buy it from the owner who wants to move on, and tear the house down, build a McMansion for like $300,000 or $400,000 more, painted a really bad brown and black combination color, know that some sucker's going to come in and buy it.
There always is.
And what you've done is you sat there and you said, hey, I'm drawing folks to my subdivision by building a new home. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter what the color is. That's what you're getting with Major League Baseball. They're sitting there and they're looking at this. They live in this fantastic part of town.
Okay.
But then they want to sit there and say, hey, wait a minute. I don't like how that house looks. So I'm going to tear that part. I'm going to tear that part of the subdivision down, build a really ugly new home, and hope that someone's going to drop the $800,000 instead of the $450 and live in that new home.
Quick answer, yes or no. Is this harming the game? Yes or no?
I don't think it's doing harming.
Yes or no?
What's your definition of harming?
Based on what you've been saying for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, how much you can't stand it and you don't like it. It's gone away from the traditional. It has gone away. Mm-hmm. Every sport, I'm not saying every sport has these things, but sports does change. It does change. Let me throw this one at you then. Staying in the same idea. Let's shift to the ice.
Sure.
And talk hockey.
Yeah.
Evgeny Kuznetsov is one of the quickest players in the game, but he's one of the slowest when it comes to the shootout. So the other night, I don't know if you saw this, but he was going in, and he went up to center ice to pick up the puck at the shootout. Yep. Very slowly.
He's at 16 RPMs.
Yeah, and the commentator said, oh, this one's not going to be quick. And so he takes the puck, puts it in front of him, and then he not shoots it, but he gets it past him across the blue line. Then he adjusts his gloves and his sleeves, and then he goes in, makes about 15, 20, 25 different moves, and then he scores.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky came on. Hold on. Wayne Gretzky came on and said that is ridiculous. It's embarrassing for the goaltenders. It's embarrassing for the game. He said that if that happened in his day and age, 20 guys would be off the bench. They'd be off the bench on Kuznetsov.
Semenko would be first, I'm sure.
Exactly. So he suggested, and look, when 99 speaks, they listen.
Yeah.
He suggested putting in a shot clock. 8, 9, 10 seconds you have from center ice to the goaltender to get the shot off. I think what Kuznetsov does, I'm fine with all the skill. I get it. And I know that a lot of times you come in full tilt. The goalie is, I think, able to read it a bit more than you come in slow and you make a whole bunch of moves. He doesn't know where he's going. So I understand that. It's to your advantage. The shootout is to the advantage of the shooter. It's not to the advantage of the goaltender. But I will say this. You've got the fastest paced game in the world, and then you shut it down like that. I would not be opposed, and I'd be in favor of putting in a shot clock.
You're also dealing in a confined space, and the thing about hockey, and I get where Gretz is coming from in this. I did not send you that email.
No, someone agreed. Shot clock, yes. Carry on.
The way that I look at it in baseball is that the amount of real estate that you're having to deal with in baseball is far more impacted by what's going on than the 200 by 85 that you're dealing with, and it's really not even that. It's 100 by 85 by the time you get to the shootout. So, I mean, honestly, think about a 20-second, say 17 or 20 seconds or 35 seconds. For me, I don't even think you get that high. I don't think a shot clock impacts the game that much. I think that probably Gretz is driven crazy by the notion that I know I'm incredibly quick. If I go the other way, then what I'm doing is what you're trying to do is you're trying to find a way to one-up the goalie in a shootout.
Right.
So what do you do?
Course.
Kuznetsov is using strategy. He's using strategy, Ryan. Strategy.
It's the strategic and whatever.
He's using strategy. He's employing strategy, and this goes back to baseball too. But I'll finish my hockey point. So Kuznetsov uses strategy by going 180 degrees from who he is to try and impact a game in a positive way. In baseball, what they're doing is they're taking the strategy away from the implementation of the game, and you're now seeing games quicker and whatever. You're now the length of a movie.
Right.
I think that strategy in different sports can go different ways. I don't mind Kuznetsov slowing it down to 16 RPMs to try to sit there and figure out what to do in a hockey shootout. What I do mind is when you sit there and make all these different rule changes like we're seeing in baseball to try bigger bases. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I'm with you with that one. No, when I saw that and read that,
what you're doing is you're trying to promote offense by having larger bases. You're trying to promote, I don't know what, by making sure that you're taking away any kind of a shift defensively, but you're taking away defensive strategy. So once again, you're trying to promote offense in this way. And by forcing pitchers to have to release a ball within 17 seconds or so, once again, you're trying to promote offense and make something shorter when you may end up making games longer because you have more offense in play because of all of these different ideas that you're trying to do until you get to the 10th inning. Then you employ the international softball tiebreaker rule in trying to get something over. So you're trying to, in the first 9 innings of a baseball game now, you're trying to promote all of these different things to promote offense. But then you get to the 10th inning, oh, we got to go home. We're going to be late for our flight. We're going to be late, all of these different things. And then you get to the 10th inning and then you're like, oh, we got to get this over with. Don't be gone too far. We'll go softball. I mean, it's just, I don't mind strategy, but what you're doing in baseball is you're slanting things toward offenses. In hockey, if Gretz got his way, and I'm sure he will probably in the next couple of seasons, that they probably will get a shot clock in there, probably 30 seconds as a starter. Then what you're doing is I think what you're doing in that aspect is you're helping defense. By forcing the offensive player to make a decision within a time frame, you're trying to rush his thought. I think in baseball, you're trying to promote offense with these changes. If Gretz got his way, he would help defense with those changes, instead of letting the game be as organic as we grew up with on both counts.
Yeah, no, it's intriguing. It is. I'm looking forward to the postseason because there's no shootouts. Just
let
keep
them
on
play
playing.
forever.
Play 60 and then play another 20, another 20, another 20 if you need to. So there's no shootouts, nothing at all. I still, though, would like not a 5-on-5 in overtime in the postseason. I'd be fine with a 4-on-4. I know playoff hockey is exciting. A 3-on-3 would be too little.
Yeah.
But a 4-on-4, I would like to see a 4-on-4 hockey in OT in the postseason. I'm not going to say I don't think. I know games would not go as long as, say, a 5-on-5 overtime game. It may change, but I'd be fine with that 4-on-4. Speaking of, playoff pitcher, I know. You're all about the tradition, right? You're all about the keep it simple, don't mess with the rules, no need to adapt, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. To your point with the pitch clock and all that stuff, baseball's been around forever. Baseball's been a long game. Baseball is a long game. The other night it wasn't. Sandy Alcantara, it was 1 hour, 52 minutes, something like that, which was incredible. So nope, pitch clock, no shift, all that stuff. But that was a dominating performance. But at the end of the day, you're trying to adjust, I guess, to the masses.
Well, but at the same time, remember when you had a master strategist on the mound in Greg Maddux?
Yes.
And Maddux, because of how skilled he was as a pitcher, could make sure that he knew where the edges of the plate were. He knew how to paint the corners. He knew how to get that things done.
He was an artist.
Yeah, and when you have individuals like that who don't need pitch clocks, who don't need shifts, who don't need international softball tiebreakers to help things out when you get to a 10th inning, there's a game that always sticks in my head when it comes to Greg Maddux. It was a game that was, I want to say it was 72 pitches against the Chicago Cubs, and the game went like an hour and 38 minutes because of what Greg Maddux did, not because of any rule that aided Greg Maddux. That, when you have something like Alcantara, if you'd probably wonder what the time would be if you didn't have the current constraints. But if Alcantara has a game like that where he's pitching out of his mind, Greg Maddux, an artist, an hour and 38 minutes on his own without any kind of rule change.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and it was 1997, July 22nd, 78 pitches. 78 pitches. Threw strikes 83% of the time. Went to a 2-ball count twice. I mean, you want to talk about complete domination, right? That to me, you can throw as fast as you want in Major League Baseball. There's guys that throw 100, 104, 105, whatever it is. Yeah, that's sexy. I understand. But pitching is an art. And those the Atlanta Braves, you mentioned Maddux. I'm glad you did, because remember Tom Glavine Steve Avery, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz.
Yeah.
One of the best rotations in baseball and baseball history. And none of those guys, even back then, they're not throwing 98, 99, 100 every pitch. What they're doing is they are painting the corners. They're creating art. And you don't have to throw a ball a million miles an hour to make it work. So anyway, we'll see.
You don't need rule changes either.
I know you don't. Hey, any interest in the Masters and the PGA players, making amends and strained relationships with the Live golf?
I don't think that they're. Let's put it this way. It's probably going to be a Monday finish because the weather down here is the weather. The weather that's coming here is the weather that you're currently experiencing right now.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
So what you're experiencing now as we're talking is what we're going to be getting over the weekend. Don't be surprised if it's a Monday finish. First time in probably 40 years, I think it would be a Monday finish. Augusta National as an entity is going to do what Augusta National damn well wants. When you go and cover the tournament, and I covered 6 of them, first off, you go to the gift shop, you are going to put a dent in your bank account. Your credit card is going to come out smoking.
Yes.
But you will have taken care of every person on your Christmas list without hesitation, and they will love you for it. Right. Literally, every year I would go, I'm dropping $300-$400 like that and getting gifts and everything. Augusta National is going to do whatever they damn well want whenever they do it. When you go, it literally is like stepping back into the 1950s and 60s. It is yes or no, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. That is just how it is. Literally, you go through the tree line and you're transported back, 60 years in time because of how the presentation is there.
Right.
Augusta National, I mean, it's more what the PGA Tour is going to sit there, and the PGA Tour and all of the other tours that are naturally attracted and in the same orbit as Augusta National. When the Masters Week comes up, all these other tours, despite what they may feel about LIV, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, thank you.
No, I know. Yeah.
That is exactly what it's going to be this entire week. And whatever Augusta National wants to do and whomever they want to invite, they are going to invite.
They're in control.
And it is the, and what, because what's the PGA Tour, what's the U.S. Golf Association going to sit there and tell Augusta National, you can't do that? And Augusta National will be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Be a part of your tour anymore. We don't care. We'll do our own thing.
Not that this is anything and means anything, but it is part of the whole story about Live in the PGA and playing at Augusta, playing at the Masters. Back in 2020, some of the featured guys in, the first groups, right? The first groups off, those are the featured ones on Thursday and Friday specifically. Some of the ones that were featured in 2020, Bryson DeChambeau, Louis Oosthuizen, Bubba Watson, Brooks Koepka, Lee Westwood, Henrik Stenson. In 21, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, Patrick Reed. In 2022, I'm just going to throw Oosthuizen, Brooks Koepka. Nobody from the Live Tour is featured in round one. Some of the featured groups on Thursday, Tiger, Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, JT going at it with John Rahm, Cameron Young, Scotty Scheffler, Max Homa, Sam Bennett. So to your point, Augusta and the Masters is saying, well, we're in charge here, and this is what we're going to do. That to me is saying that, yes, there's some great golfers on the Live Tour. There is. Say what you want about the tour, but there's some really good golfers on that tour. But that's the Masters saying to me, that's fine. We still support the PGA before you, and we're the Masters and we're Augusta. To your point, we're doing what we want to do.
Yeah, and there's an article for those that subscribe to The Athletic. So requested reading would be Jeff Schultz's column about the tournament in Augusta, and he caught up with folks that are attached to 9/11 groups and the whole notion of sports washing, which is what they're doing. This literally is what LIV is doing, and there's a concern from 9/11 families about what Augusta National is or isn't doing when it comes to showing support and all these kinds of things. for this particular tournament. Just to give you an idea, the head of one of the 9/11 groups, 9/11 Families United, Terry Strada, lost her husband on 9/11. The other head is Matthew Bochy, who lost his father as well. Tom Strada, John Bochy, killed once again when the terrorists flew the planes into the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center. Terry Strada, Matthew Bochy spoke at an Atlanta media session ahead of the Masters. Terry Strada had a conversation. She first sends a letter to Augusta National Chair Fred Ridley asking for a meeting. Strada and Ridley spoke briefly by phone, and Strada said it was a respectful conversation. He wanted me to understand his side as a person making those decisions. I didn't agree with him, but he was entitled to his opinion. Ridley, and this is Jeff Schultz, he says, Ridley no doubt hopes and likely is correct that once tournament play begins Thursday, the competition will dominate the news cycle. The controversy surrounding LIV golfers fades into the background. This is how it works. Sometimes we become numb to how wrong something is because, well, look at that chip on 16. And so Strada and Ridley agreed to keep their conversation private. She got to get her point across on how 9/11 families feel, what it does to their fight for justice to give the Saudis a platform to try to sports wash their guilt and their participation in murdering thousands of Americans. So that was her conversation that she had with Jeff Schultz about it. And wow, it is a delicate dance for Augusta National. And you have all of these different chainsaws in the air if you're Fred Ridley, the chairman of the golf club. And you're trying not to deny having the most talented players in your sport challenging for one of the most hallowed trophies in your sport. And then how do you sit there and navigate that whole idea of LIV and Saudi Arabia and sports washing and all of these different things are in play. Will I watch it? Probably. Will I watch it on Sunday? Absolutely, because it's Easter
for sure.
Sunday. And well, actually, I should say I'll listen to it Monday when I'm driving home, or we'll be home. When you and I get back on Monday. Yeah. And so, it's a delicate dance for Augusta National, but at the end of the day, Augusta National is going to do what they think is best for business. Yeah,
they are. Tiger's there. Rory's there. Tiger looks good, but I certainly don't think that he's going to be there on Sunday or Monday. Would be great if he is at some point, but we'll see. Soccer, more close to your home and heart. So we all know what Cristiano Ronaldo signed that
baby. Yep.
Massive deal with Al Nassr in the kingdom. So according to a certain transfer market expert in the Saudi Gazette, they reported that Lionel Messi has received that huge offer, John, of $438 million
to go across town to the rival.
Right. So are you surprised? First of all, Messi says, and I think this is the right thing to do. He says, quote, "It's my absolute priority to carry on playing in Europe."
Yeah.
I think he's got what? He's going to be free agent June 30th, I think. He's under contract with Paris Saint-Germain.
Right.
2-year deal when he switched from FC Barcelona in 2021 expires. So he's going to be a free agent on June 30th. Are you surprised that this is out there? Because I am, and look, I don't follow soccer like you do.
Yeah.
But I know what's going on, not as in-depth like you. But I'm absolutely not surprised about this whatsoever.
Well, and think about it once again. We've talked about during this show what's best for business.
Right.
Lionel Messi is an ambassador for Visit Saudi Arabia. As a part of the Saudi 2030 project, they are trying to court the World Championship that was in a neighboring nation that was held between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm not going to announce the nation or the tournament and give it the time of day, the recognition that it deserves. But at the end of the day, Lionel Messi is an ambassador to that country for this idea of them hosting the 2030 World Cup after the United States, Canada, and Mexico do in 2026. So when you're already an ambassador for something and they want to come after you at 430 million euro a year at the age of then 36 when your season starts, I mean, it's all going to come down to his dad, who's the agent. Now that we're at 3-minute warning, once again here, using CFL rules as we always.
There we go. 3 downs.
So I think that I mean, and there's talk about him coming to Major League Soccer and being a part of things at Inter Miami, but then you would have to probably reorganize your entire salary structure. You'd probably have to do something akin to the David Beckham rule where you give him equity in a franchise or something like that. And the Moss brothers would certainly do that with Inter Miami. Because then you'd have David Beckham and Lionel Messi.
Yeah, lovely.
Pieces of the same franchise. We need Nick Alifi from soccer over there to give you that voice. But I think at the end of the day, what's best for business for the Saudis and their 2030 project is to have Lionel Messi in their country for the crosstown rival for what you're seeing with CR38. So Al Nasser and Al Hilal would be going at each other with two of the greatest players of this generation. Would not be a surprise at all.
No. The Air documentary or movie or film starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. It's that Nike pursuit.
How about those rugs, man?
Oh, yeah. Nike pursuit of Michael Jordan. I remember I watched the one of the Jordan documentaries, one of the hundreds of them that have been done since he's been born.
Right.
And how, Nike was after him, Reebok was after him, and he was really close to signing with Reebok. And then I think his mom went down with him to wherever Nike was. The headquarters, I assume, were in the same place.
Portland, Oregon.
But she went down, and she basically said to him, no. You're not. And he was almost a pen in hand that he was going to sign on the dotted line with Reebok. And then he ended up with Nike. Any interest in seeing this? Because I'm curious. It's just $1 billion industry, and Michael has made so much money. Nike's made so much money off of Michael. So it's intriguing for me, the whole story of how it started.
I would be more interested if it was more in documentary form,
right?
Instead of the docudrama, which I'm guessing is what Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are trying to do here. Movie for me, not so much. Docudrama, documentary, that kind of a thing, docuseries, that I would be interested in. This, I don't know what the reception will be publicly for it, but it will be interesting to see how many people do flock to it and how close it actually is to what happened. That is it's always my concern with movies.
No, that's true.
On a true story versus the true story are always two separate things. Folks need to remember that.
Yeah, I mentioned Reebok, Converse, and Adidas. So those were 1, 2 at the time, not Reebok, and then Nike was 3. So, well, good on you. They found Michael. Michael found them, and the rest, as they say, is history. I'm with you, though. If it was a documentary, much better, more intrigued for me. At a time. This has been fun. Safe travels, my friend, and we will do this again next week for another edition of North South. Until then.
Well, that was the first edition, a long time, of North South with John Freeman Nelson, or I should say Ryan Payton from the North, John Freeman Nelson from the South, from Atlanta exactly. And we're happy to be there again with John and Ryan for North South. They'll hopefully have North South on each and every week here on the Fired Up Network. 50 seconds left to go in the third period. The Leafs and Bruins are all tied up at 1. And we're hopefully going to be joined by Marty Roberts and Billy the Greek in just a few seconds here. 40 seconds now. The Leafs have the puck. They're trying to score a late goal to win the game here. And Boston, Pasternak has it over the blue line. And shot wide there, and the Maple Leafs are trying to get the puck out. They do not. Boston has the puck in the Maple Leaf corner for Maple Leafs finally get the puck out. 20 seconds left. Lafferty scoring the goal for the Maple Leafs in the first period. And we're heading 9-8-7 to overtime here. 4 seconds left, 2 seconds left. We're heading to overtime between the Leafs and Boston Bruins. We're all tied up at 1. Good road game for the Maple Leafs. This is a playoff game, no matter what it is. 5 games left in the season. This is a playoff game between the Leafs and Boston Bruins. 1-1 here. And so I'm going to give you play-by-play, and then we'll do a Maple Leafs Forever with Marty Roberts and also Billy the Greek here. But again, Maple Leafs heading to overtime with the Boston Bruins. 1-1, the Leafs and the Boston Bruins heading into overtime. And let's see who comes out on top. This is a critical, could be a good point because Maple Leafs leading, I believe Tampa is losing. So Maple Leafs could wrap up second place in the Atlantic Division with a win here. Again, 1-1 heading to overtime between the Leafs and Boston Bruins. Now, if the Grizzled Young Veteran and the Greek don't show up right now, I will not put them on the air. They have an opportunity to be on worldwide TV, and they're fumbling like they always do here. That's the Greek and Marty Roberts and Billy the Greek. Marty Roberts and Billy the Greek coming on very soon here. Heading to overtime once again, the Leafs and Bruins are all tied up at 1. Here is a scoreboard update. I'm going to give you a scoreboard update. Before I give a scoreboard update, once again, happy Passover to all the Jewish fans out there. Chag Sameach. And for all the Christian fans, happy Easter. Good Friday tomorrow. We will not be doing a soccer show, but we will be doing a special show here. I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But 14:30 left to go in the third. The Panthers all over Ottawa 7-1. 5 minutes left in the third. Montreal leads Washington 4-1. Pittsburgh 5 minutes left in the third, beating Minnesota 4-1. New Jersey all over Columbus 3 minutes left in the third, 8-1. 4 minutes left. Buffalo leads Detroit 6-5. The Islanders at the end of second lead Tampa 4-1. At the end of second, St. Louis leads the Rangers 1-0. Nashville 2-0 over Carolina. The end of one period, it is Dallas 1, Philadelphia 0. 10 p.m. games, the LA Kings and Vegas Golden Knights. Chicago, Vancouver, 10:30 Arizona, Seattle, and also 10:30 Colorado and San Jose. In the NBA, Miami destroying Philadelphia 4 minutes, 118-88. San Antonio leads Portland 7 minutes in the third, 80-73. Just started the game. Oklahoma 25, Utah 19. Denver, Phoenix at 10 o'clock, and one final. Cleveland beating Orlando 118-94. In Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays beat the Kansas City Royals 6-3. 4-4 tie, bottom of the sixth, the Braves and San Diego Padres. At 10 o'clock, the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. 6-3, Boston beat Detroit. San Fran all over Chicago White Sox 16-6. Colorado shuts out Washington 1-0. Miami and the Mets. Yankees, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Houston, Minnesota, all postponed today because of rain. And don't forget, this weekend, UFC presents UFC 287, Adesanya versus Pereira, Masvidal versus Burns, Yanez versus Font, all going down this Saturday for UFC 287 in Miami. See, I could see the grizzled young veteran Marty Roberts. When I talk, he gets scared about getting fired from the Fired Up Network. The Greek Billy doesn't care; he doesn't show up. Marty Roberts, of course, showing up right now. Pittsburgh winning, big critical game for Pittsburgh. Marty Roberts watching overtime here. I could see Marty Roberts looking at his big 72-inch screen in that room there. There you go, Marty. Marty, first of all, let me change this north-south to Maple Leafs Forever.
Joseph, I hope you didn't pay for that haircut.
Nobody can hear you, Marty. We can't hear you again. How unprofessional is this when you think you... Go ahead, Marty. No.
Still can't hear me?
Can't hear you, Marty Roberts. That's the grizzled young veteran who doesn't know how to use a microphone for the show here. That's Marty Roberts. Again, overtime. And it looks like the Boston Bruins have gotten power play in overtime. Kind of referees are these? These are Romanian referees in the National Hockey League, all right? So Boston does have a power play. A minute 45 left in the power play. 4:15 left in the game in overtime. And that's 1-1, and a good save there by the Maple Leaf goaltender. Marty Roberts still struggling almighty with his sound. You think you have some producer from a fraudulent company producing his sound and all that. Go ahead, Marty. Can we hear you?
Can you tell me?
No, we can't hear you. All right, hold on, Marty. I think, go ahead. Say something, Marty. Are you saying something or not?
Yes.
Okay, I could hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You
All
just
right.
didn't like me saying, did you pay for that haircut?
Listen, what do you have against my haircut, all right? My haircut. Did you watch the first hour with Digit and Taylor Woods? How Taylor Woods really did mention Marty Roberts all the time and all that. So, and she's got swag for you in her car and everything like that, Marty. Yeah.
What kind of swag does she have for me?
She has a thong. A Toronto 6 thong for Marty Roberts.
I don't wear that.
You mean you got free swag and you're not wearing thongs?
Nope. No.
Marty Roberts, very disappointing. Where's your friend the Greek here? And he's
last time I talked to him, he was eating 5 pounds of wings. So he probably got a little barbecue sauce on his chin, on his fingers.
Did he pay for those wings? Did he pay for those wings?
This is Billy. We know it was free.
Yeah, well, it was free. So I'll come off. He just texted me. He goes, he'll come on after the game. If you're watching Billy Jorgansakis, the Greek, you're coming on in 2 seconds, or else I swear to God, I'm not putting you on the air. It is right now 9:35. You better come on by 9:37. I say 37 is because Dave Steve's number.
He spilt the wings all over the place. He has to clean it up. That's the only reason why he's not watching the Leafs game. He's eating the wings and clean. He's got the wet naps. Cleaning off his face and his fingers right now.
All right. Before we touch on the Leafs, we'll wait till whoever wins this game. Let's talk about your Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. Big game for them today.
Well, yeah, they need. You know what? Like this was theirs for the taking to get in the playoffs, and they've dropped the ball. Now they're up against it. They have to win. They have to win out to have a chance because Islanders are beating Tampa tonight. Florida's beating Ottawa. And yes, they beat Minnesota. Like Penguins' last 3 games are against Detroit, Chicago, and Columbus. 3 easy games, right?
Yeah, well.
Florida has Washington, Toronto, and Carolina. Well, Toronto and Carolina might be sitting guys out because they're getting ready for the playoffs. And the Islanders play Philadelphia, Washington, Montreal. So they all have pretty easy schedules. They needed to win today. They did it. That's nice. They did it. But they're in tough. And I said that a few weeks ago. I thought they're in tough. They don't have the goaltending. They're a little older. So hopefully they sneak in. But I don't know. I thought tonight would have been the game that the Islanders would drop against Tampa. And I think last time I looked, it was like 5-1 for the Islanders.
Yeah. And what about Florida doing a number on Ottawa? Florida has that position there. Yeah. 7-1 last time I saw. 7-1.
And a lot of fights in that match as well. There's lots of fights going on. I think Brady Tkachuk was tossed out of the game. Both Matthew and Brady fought. Not each other, but they fought.
Yeah.
So it's I guess Florida is getting ready for playoff hockey by scrapping.
Could Florida do the unpredictable and beat Boston?
I don't know. You know, that would be. I would guess that Boston would be a little scared about Florida because Florida can play a physical type of game, right? They're not afraid to bang. Obviously, Boston's not afraid to bang. The only thing that Boston has that is so much better than Florida.
Boston just scored. Boston just scored. Boston wins the game in overtime. They have just scored. The Boston Bruins beat the Maple Leafs in overtime 2-1. And funny, I say 9:37, 9:38. So I expect him to come in at 3 in 2 minutes. They're cleaning his barbecue sauce.
Clean the barbecue sauce. Hopefully, it's not on his cam and we can't see through it.
Yeah, hopefully we could hear him unlike last time. All right. So, yeah, Florida and
I think Boston has better goaltending than Florida. There's no question about it. Like Florida's goaltending is a little shaky at times. Boston has two guys they can roll out there if one isn't playing well. But it'd be a good series because, like I just said, Boston likes playing a physical type of game, and so does Florida.
So Maple Leafs took a penalty in overtime, and the penalty was just over as the Boston Bruins, and it looks like who else? I think this is goal number 50, and Hall is on the ice. Hall is on the ice. Could have blocked the shot, but he didn't block the shot. Hall's on the ice. Pasternak winning it, and Hoham, Boston Bruins. Again, what is this? The 62nd win. They could actually have 65 wins on the year.
Yeah, you
Unbelievable.
keep thinking that they'll just take their foot off the pedal and they'll just coast into the playoffs, but they didn't against Pittsburgh the other night. They didn't against the Leafs here tonight. So they're getting themselves ready.
This was an
Pasternak scored the winner, you said?
Yes, Pasternak, the OT winner.
What's he have now?
I think this is 50, but I'm not sure. Let me look it up here. Stall for time, Marty. Do something correct.
Well, do you want me to play the elevator music? We can play the elevator music
or something. Play that.
You know, we could play a little elevator music. He has 56 goals, 57 after tonight.
57. Wow.
Yeah, so he's on. He's gonna possibly hit 60.
Well, he's gonna hit 60, and Connor McDavid is at 60. So it's wow. Yeah,
well,
57.
Pasternak he had 3 against the Penguins last week. You know, now he has the overtime winner. Yeah, Boston's going to be tough. Boston is going to be tough to beat, but if it's Florida that gets them, because Florida is are they the 1 or the 2 seed right now?
They're one wild card, so they will play Carolina. Florida. Islanders would probably play Boston right now.
Yeah, and Boston would probably like that very much to face the Islanders.
Well, that's another, and it looks like again, just looking here, 12:56 left in the third. Islanders 4, Tampa 1.
Yeah. Tampa's strange bunch this year, eh? Like they'll make it look easy, then they'll look at a sink. Well, I don't know what to expect with them this year.
With the Maple Leafs point 104 and Tampa losing, I'm going to give them a loss. Tampa has 96, and there's now 4 games left. The Maple Leafs are home and cooled out for second place.
Yeah, they got because Toronto has 4 games left. Did you say?
Yeah.
And Tampa will have 3 after today, and they're 103 to 96 is point wise. So yeah, there's
104 because Maple Leafs get a point.
Well, they had 102 going in the game.
Okay, so
103 they have. They're second. So that's good. They get the home ice advantage. That's what you wanted. You want the home ice advantage, and that's why I just came back to saying about Florida playing the Leafs. Well, if Toronto doesn't have anything to play for, which they won't, they could be sitting out some guys, and Florida gets an easy walk over the Leafs on that game.
Yeah, here are the next Maple Leaf games. Saturday here, their final home game, it looks like, against the Montreal Canadiens. That should be a win. Then Monday in Florida, Tuesday in Tampa, and then Thursday in New York.
Yeah, so when's the Florida game, did you say?
Monday in Florida, Tuesday in Tampa.
So they play back-to-back. So the question is, when do they sit out their guys? Will they sit them out against Florida or send them out against Tampa? I would say they send them out against Tampa.
I think they play Florida, Tampa, and they sit out everybody against the Rangers on the Thursday, the last game of the year, because
they're playing back-to-back nights. You think they're going to play everyone back-to-back nights?
Yeah, you're right there, and the Stanley Cup playoffs start on Monday, April 17th. I've been told that the Maple Leafs will start on Tuesday, April 18th. So that's basically less than 2 weeks today. So one other thing that I want to mention here, I know we're going to go to Maple Leafs and Blue Jays and all that, but Marty, I know you were driving the bus today, but they invited the media. That's why I'm dressed like the media here to the Rogers Center here to wine and dine us with the new renovations and everything like that. First of all, Marty, hot dog, new hot dogs, poutine hot dogs. Guess how much? A hot dog. Guess how much?
$9.
More.
$12.
Yes.
$12 for a hot dog.
$11.50.
Oh
right?
my!
And they have a rooftop and everything like that. I gotta admit, like the wall, it looks nice. The wall, and then they have the walls in blue, like dark blue, and then they have like just over the wall, so it's a home run. It's in light blue, light blue, so you could see which one they're.
I did notice, Joe, that they are now selling full bottles of wine.
Yes, $80. Marty, you're a wine connoisseur, Marty. Do you like red or white? Come on.
I don't drink wine.
No, you're a wine connoisseur. Like, I should ask Billy. First of all, what is this guy? The game's over already. 10 minutes.
I told you there's barbecue sauce on his phone.
All right.
So now he's got to clean. He's got to go find the wet naps and clean off the sauce off of the phone, and then he'll be there. I just hope he didn't choke on a bone.
He's coming in now. Let me see if he's choking on. He should choke on these nuts. All right. So first of all, here he is. He's drinking. He's got a little bit of red vino there. What kind of shirt is he wearing? Look at that shirt, isn't it? All right. Hey, look at that shirt. All right. So
this is hold on. Let me get a word in. I just got it. Custom made. Unfortunately, this is an XL T-shirt and it's skin tight. What's going on, boys?
I heard a little birdie told me you were at one of my good friends' establishment at a pool hall. Let's give him a plug at least. Go ahead.
I'll tell you this. Obviously, for those of you that follow and those of you that watch, all 17 of you, 13 of which are from Newfoundland and they currently reside in Barrie. As you guys know, I like to relay information. It brings me great joy to make other people's lives better, be it financially, be it with wisdom. I answer a lot of calls about guys that are struggling with their girlfriends. Greek, what should I say? What should I do? I love to help others. So here's a tip for you guys today. If you want today I had the best wings in the city. Honest to God, my fat ass. 3 pounds, Marty Roberts, in one sitting, man, and just an unbelievable display on my part, man. Just a destruction.
What do you prefer, the drumstick or the wing?
I go back and forth.
He likes the breast. What are you talking about? The breast.
I go back and forth, Marty Roberts. I never eat both consecutively. Like I go one way, then bing another, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like
I like the drumstick one. I like the little drumsticks. The wings, too much effort. It's too much effort.
Notice, Billy, he said the little drumstick. So, he likes the little drumstick. All right, Billy, what's that pool hall
it's like Academy Sports Bar and Lounge at the corner of Logan and Danforth. Family owned and operated since the beginning of time. Going on 50 years, same family run, great environment. I was just there, and as you know, I don't hang out too much in pool halls, but if I did, that's one spot that I would be at. Rampack, great food, good bunch of guys up there. Angelo Pizzolides and his crew, and they're top of the line guys, and look forward to seeing them again. Maybe I'm going to make this a habit, showing up there and trying to get free wings.
If it's free, even your buddy, the borderline Hall of Famer, will attend. Free, it's him. All right.
That's where he figured it out from. Norm told him how to get free food.
How? Just bore him to death? All right. So, Billy, go ahead. What did you think of the Maple Leafs 2-1 loss to the Boston Bruins in overtime? By the way, hold on. I don't like to do this, Billy, but I have to say, some guy named Billy G, the corporate G, comes on here and does his picks for Carpet for Lives and all that. He predicted the Maple Leafs are going to win. What was the score you said?
I didn't give a score, Double J. I don't know. How did you feel? How did you feel the whole game as an outside and honest observer? How did you feel? How did you feel the whole game?
I actually thought the Maple Leafs played a good road game. They lost. Who gives a power play in overtime? All right, these Romanian referees, man, in the National Hockey League. What is this, soccer or whatever? Come on, go ahead.
That's that's one area, obviously, where home ice is important. If the same set of circumstances happen at the ACC, obviously the whistle's getting blown a little bit differently. Obviously, that power play, so they call a penalty, which wasn't a penalty, let's be fair. They got the call right, but they call a penalty on the Boston guy. Look up, watch the replay on the board, and then change the call. You never see that before. Referee, they didn't go to New York or Barrie, Ontario, or wherever else for the replays. They just looked up at the Jumbotron and said, maybe we got this one wrong. That's unacceptable. Home ice advantage. And again, Boston, logically speaking, the difference between Boston and Toronto is not 30 points like it is in the standings. A 7-game series between these clubs is razor thin. But my only concern moving forward is that the Toronto Maple Leafs, in any series they play, stop, man. Stop bothering me late at night, man. I can't shake all these ladies that just want a little piece of me. Stop it. I'm on air. Anyways, what was I saying? The Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe and Marty, here's they're going to go into every conceivable playoff series, be it 1 round or 16 and 4 rounds, as the club that owns the second best goaltender in the matchups. And for me, that's concerning. Period, case closed. The guy, all right, he gives up 2, but I need those 2 saves. I need that save in the third period, a shot from the slot. You got to save that puck. I'm sorry. That game's got to end 1-0 Toronto, and Samsonov can't give that one up. And if you want to win a cup, you got to stand on your head. You go up 1 against Boston, you got to shut them down. You got to stand on your head, or else the likelihood of a Stanley Cup here is slim and none.
Well, we knew about this at the trade deadline, right, Marty? We knew about he fixed pretty much a lot of stuff. He got more sandpaper, more defense, but the goalie was the known because. And to your credit, Marty, listen to this, Billy. Marty Roberts came on here about a year ago and said Matt Murray is injury prone. And he's injury prone. He wasn't that good in Pittsburgh and all that. Now they're relying on Samsonov. Which, by the way, I gotta say this: their number 1 goalie is not Samsonov. It's a guy named Joseph Wall. If you've seen him in the Marlies, he's been when it's tough, when you need to win, he shuts it down. They should try him for a little bit to see if he is a goalie that can do it in the playoffs. But Marty Roberts, to his credit, a year ago said,
hold on, Joe. To his credit, that guy's not a dummy, man. He does have his high school diploma. This is not a guy with.
I'm one up on Billy.
This is not a low. This is not a low IQ. This is not a low IQ individual here, boys. Marty Roberts. That's like
listen, I agree with Billy. You know what? Samsonov has to have that. And that's the difference between good goalies and elite goalies. Elite goalies make that save when they're not expected to. And even though Shen, bad turnover, trying to baby it off the glass and get it out, hard off the boards would have done the job. But okay, but Samsonov does have to have it, and it should have been 1-0. You're absolutely right. And that's where teams that win the Stanley Cups have those goalies to do that. Make a save when, where the heck did that come from? And unfortunately, I can't remember the last time the Leafs had that type of goalie. It's been well over 15 years. So Billy's right. They got the second best goalie in any series.
But to counter that, here's what we also learned today. When you're talking about the 20 guys that are suiting up for each club in a potential Boston-Toronto series or Boston-Tampa Bay, the argument could be made that the Leafs roster, especially with the depth added, the hyphenated guy, I'm not a hyphenated fan, Cam, some of the guys in the back end, arguably the Leafs have the best set of forwards in the Eastern Conference, right there with Boston. The defense is obviously not bad. It's not where Boston is in terms of on paper, but do you guys see a better team on paper in terms of the 12 forwards in the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Eastern Conference?
And besides, Ryan O'Reilly came back tonight also.
Yeah, I don't see it. It'll take O'Reilly a few games to get back into the swing of things. It's good that he came back to play a few games before the playoffs. I'm looking at the roster right now. I have it pulled up. ESPN has the Leafs having 9 centers on the team. 9 centers.
But who's that? What's that organization you said?
ESPN.
That fraudulent company or what? All right. And what do they know about hockey? I could put Billy there. He could clean the clocks out of
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Yeah, he just threw you on a. Oh my! That wasn't a very nice thing to say, Joseph.
Clean the clocks out of ESPN. That's not a bad thing to say. Come on, ESPN doesn't have to carry a candle to the Greek here.
You go, Double J. There you go. That kind of made up for it. The question you got to ask yourself: the difference between Toronto and Boston, to me, would be an unbelievably tight series, and at the end of the day, the Leafs have just as good a shot as anybody in that Eastern Conference to knock off the Bruins. And here's the other thing that I'd worry about if I'm a Bruins fan. Again, they've shown signs lately. Lost to Nashville at home. You see today at anybody's game. Here's the problem that you have if you're a Boston Bruins fan. Seeds 7, 8, and 9. One of them obviously is not going to make the playoffs. Have been playing playoff hockey for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And they're coming in, and we've seen this a lot in baseball, Marty, when the wild card team comes in, playing that kind of hockey for an extended period of time, and they go in with that momentum. I'm telling you guys that I would not be shocked if Boston gets a humongous scare in the first round. A humongous scare by especially Florida, who looks to be coming together, especially in the last probably couple weeks.
Did I hear you say Boston was struggling lately?
I said they've shown signs.
They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Hold on. Well, 9, but it's not an impressive 9-1, Marty Roberts.
It don't matter what it is. It's 9-1.
Here's the point. What I'm trying to tell you, Marty Roberts, pay attention. Pay attention. Listen to the Greek for once, because as you've developed your aura, your on-air personality, you used to be kind of controllable in terms of agreeing with me 98% of the time. Listen to me when I tell you.
That got me in a lot of trouble.
Boston is in big trouble come the playoffs. Big trouble.
It's not coming from the Leafs, that's for sure.
Big trouble. Why? Why isn't it coming from the Leafs, man? What did you see today that told you? Hold on, Joe. I'm not going to let this guy get away with that.
You just finished saying that Boston has nothing to play for, and they're going backwards, and yet they still beat the Leafs 2-1.
Hold on. Did you watch the hockey game, or are you busy trying to squeeze those Penguins into the 8-hole?
No, I'm just saying what you're saying. You said Boston's been struggling lately, and they still beat the Leafs 2-1. So, to me,
forget about Boston for a second. Hold on, Billy. We got to get through the first round, and we're not playing the first round, Boston. We're playing Tampa.
Listen, forget about Tampa Bay this year is going to be for what's the word? I was looking for a specific phrase. I can't access it right now. For all intents and purposes, there you go, man. Right on the money. I am better late than never.
Glad you got that one.
Toronto will dominate Tampa Bay, and it'll be a rather short series. Maybe Tampa Bay gets one game, but Toronto in 5, that's a cupcake. Leafs are going this way, fully stacked. Tampa Bay's leaking oil. They've been leaking oil for 2 months now. They're not going to turn on the tap, Joe, and come back to life. They're dead. They're dying. It's a funeral for Tampa Bay. They got no more runs in them. Kerfoot had them for death last year in Game 6 with no depth, no defense, no nothing. With a far inferior squad, the Leafs had Tampa Bay dead to rights. This year, it's a different story. Mark my words.
Marty, so did you hear what he said? The Leafs in 5. The Leafs won't score a goal in 5 periods. Let alone the Leafs in 5.
The one thing that Tampa has is they have Vasilevsky in net, and that's at least stealing a game, maybe even 2 games for Tampa.
Listen,
do you guys hold on before we forget here as we move forward? Do you guys care to match your prognostication abilities to this guy right here, probably the best in North America? If I tell you something, you better take it seriously.
The Leafs will win, but not in 5 games. Even if they win in 5 games, we got a chance at the Stanley Cup. Put it that way. They make things hard on themselves. The Leafs, the Raptors, the Jays, every Toronto team If the Leafs win, this is not going to go 5 games. This is going to go 6 and most likely 7 for the Maple Leafs to win. Marty, what do you
Tampa
say?
Bay's lucky to win 1 game.
You say 5. What does Marty say?
I'm not writing off Tampa Bay. As much as I think the Leafs will win that series, I'm not writing them off. I see it possibly 7 games again. That's the way I see it. It's just, there's not much to choose between them. You look at every spot, you could go through it all. It might come down to goaltending and defense. Who has better?
Well,
right? So if Vasilevsky shows up, the Leafs could be in trouble. But I'm still going with the Leafs in 7 versus Tampa. I don't think Tampa is the same as they were last year, the last few years. I think the Leafs finally get out of the first round, but I think it's in 7 games.
All right.
And that's where regular season will come into effect there, Billy. That counts because they get game 7. Where do they get it? Scotiabank Arena, not in Tampa.
Is there a reason you're raising your voice, Marty Roberts?
Yes, I'm trying to be like you.
Man, you got to wake up very early in the morning, man.
All right, Billy, let me ask you this. So you mentioned the 7, 8, 9 seeds, okay? Who gives Boston a tougher matchup? Florida, Islanders, or Marty's Penguins?
At this point in time, my instinct, for no apparent reason, suggests that the Florida Panthers, coming off last year's President Trophy run, disappointing for the majority of the year, coming into the season as the prohibitive favorites in that division, disappointing year, but they're starting to put things together. And if a team like that gets hot, squeezes in, they got a lot of talent. They got talent. They got a guy in Bobrovsky that can steal a series if he's on. They got guys in the back end. They play a physical style.
Wait a second here. Did you say Bobrovsky's going to steal a series? Did you just say that? That's the only team that the Leafs would have a better goalie than.
No, absolutely. First of all, Bobrovsky has a history of coming up big in big moments. And at the same point in time, I'm not talking about his body of work. I'm talking about the guy's got the ability in a short series to be the best guy on the ice, without a doubt. Yes, Bobrovsky.
Are they playing a short series or are they playing long series?
7 games, best of 7 is a short series, Marty Roberts.
As long as it can possibly go a 7-game series.
It's a short series, Marty Roberts. And don't come on here trying to attack the Greek, Marty Roberts, because I had about enough of it. Don't make me respond with some unflattering comments towards you and the entirety.
I just find it that a guy of your intellectual abilities that you have, you
don't
say
tell me, Marty,
Bobrovsky is a good goalie.
I don't want to summon some of my inner thoughts in relation to how I really feel about the good people in Barrie, Ontario, including yourself. So just let it go. Let's make peace right here before it gets personal. Florida's got a half a fighter's chance to beat Boston. If this happened if this game was game 1 or game 2 of the season, even if they played in Boston, Florida would be a -110 favorite, period. 80 games later, Boston's the greatest thing since sliced bread. If the same matchup was opening night a year ago, Florida would be the favorite. When you have odds like that, you can't count the team out, especially Florida as a huge underdog. And we're talking plus 380, plus 400. You can't count them out, I'm telling you. Go ahead, Joe. Get a word in, Double J.
You had me until you said Bobrovsky was going to steal a couple games.
Greg Wilson
you had
wants to know.
But as soon as you said that,
what do you want to know, Greg Wilson?
Hold on.
What do you want to know? No, Greg Wilson, all the people from Barrie are not like Marty Roberts. No, they're not. There are some good people. There are some good people in Barrie, Ontario.
Greg Wilson is from Barrie. He wants to know what Marty Roberts' plan is for Good Friday.
Us people in Barrie don't do Good Friday. We'll go to Costco.
Costco. All right.
So, I'm surprised, Marty. I'm surprised a guy of your caliber, a humane individual such as yourself, is not donating some of his time to Make-A-Wish Foundation, maybe handing out meals for the homeless. Like I heard guys like you.
Hey, I am donating my money. I'm donating to the
to Mohawk.
HP Bet account.
To Mohawk. Yeah.
since Marty Roberts, this is a Good Friday. You know, we don't have a soccer show on Friday, but we do have a special show. I'm putting you to work tomorrow, Marty. You don't know you're not doing anything but cooking steaks. You're not inviting Billy or me for steak. Come on, we're doing a special show tomorrow.
What's the special show tomorrow, Joseph?
We're talking about the World Curling Championships.
The Worldly.
Right? So there
Worldly.
you go, Marty. Yeah,
World Curling
All right,
Championships.
let's switch it from the NHL to Major League Baseball here. Let's start off with Billy. Blue Jays winning 3 out of 4 from the juggernaut, the Kansas City Royals. Blue Jays winning 6-3. Kevin Gausman again pitches into the 7th inning. He really pitched good in the first start and the second start here. Go ahead.
Where do you want me to start? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about a three out of 4 against the Kansas City Royals? Congratulations. As for Kevin Gausman, the ace of the Blue Jay staff, in my estimation, the guy that you can count on moving forward, and the guy that even if the playoffs started tomorrow, even last year, if the playoffs Gausman's my guy. I know Manoah's young, temperamental, whatever. I'm not discounting Manoah, but Gausman's the guy I have the most confidence in moving forward. And in a big game spot, he's the guy that I want on the mound. And it's no surprise that he can go into Kansas City into what's the stadium called again? I forget what it's called. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I was in the batter's box. Kauffman Stadium, anyways. So you go into Kauffman Stadium and you face a minor league lineup. You should have put up 6 with zeros across. So no surprises there.
So I'm going to go to Marty. Marty, they start the season 10-game road trip, and they start because, renovations at the Rogers Center Skydome. They go from St. Louis to Kansas City, now to Anaheim. And they play here today, and they fly to Anaheim and all that. And I should ask Billy this, but tomorrow, Blue Jays lose, bet on it, right?
Yeah, and it's Bassett throwing. That's the only iffy you say. Bassett last game out was just absolutely horse crap. That was terrible. Is he a guy that can bounce back? I think he is, but that's Lynn can't say fly to Anaheim to play. What is this 7:00 game tomorrow?
6:00 game tomorrow.
6:00. It's going to be awfully tough. The only bonus of the series, they don't get to face Ohtani. That's the one thing. They don't have to face Ohtani. So it's going to be tough that game tomorrow, but
let the Golden Green Cup a word Marty. Go ahead.
Marty, I don't come on here to listen to you guys. I need to get a word in. Here's what you're failing. Here's what you're failing to understand. Perhaps, or maybe look at it from this perspective. This is not the Inter-County Baseball League, Marty, where you're going from Bramford to Christie Pitts in a wagon with 10 guys, right? And you're going back and forth, and you're waking up the next day.
You like the wagon. You like the wagon.
Hold on, man. They're not waking up the next day to go drive buses in by 427. These guys are pampered. They stay in first class hotels. The transportation to and from, right? When we're talking about the track, give me a break, man. It's 8 games into the year. You're in a luxury jet, man. Who knows what's going on in there? They probably got stripper. Who knows what they got going on? So the boys are okay. Let's not make this a show of resilience on behalf of the Blue Jays, how they can muster the strength to fly from Kansas City to Anaheim to play a goddamn baseball game. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with Chris Bassett, as I told you before, as I told you on numerous occasions. First of all, Mr. Bassett, welcome to the AL East. It's going to be a little different story than pitching in the parks you've pitched for before. And I'll tell you this. Guys like him cannot afford to make mistakes. Marty, obviously, I'm sure you'd agree, guys that sit 89, 90 and guys that mix around cannot live in the middle of the plate. And if Chris Bassett doesn't find what 92, 93, 94 looks like to keep guys honest, every mistake he makes is going to get turned around, and nothing's going to change at 88, 89 center cut fastballs.
Marty?
I'm sort of glad, though, because last year we had this discussion when the Jays signed Gausman, and Billy did not want him. Billy did not want Kevin. Yeah. No. I want Robbie Ray,
Billy,
not
who's the number 1 pitcher right now?
Now he is the Jays' ace. Billy, you've come a long way. I'm telling you, you've come a long way. You've never been a guy to switch your opinion. You did. I'm proud of you, kid.
Whoa! I didn't switch my. You're putting words in my mouth, man. I told you at the time of the. I told you at the time of the signing. I didn't necessarily criticize Gosman.
You didn't like Gosman.
I like Ray better, man. Sorry, I like Ray better.
You brought up his Baltimore days, even.
I like Ray better. What do you want me to say? I had my doubts with Gosman.
Are you wrong?
Hold on, let me finish. Don't interrupt me. Given some of Gosman's prior exploits in the AL East, I had my questions about the man. All right, and he answered them.
The AL East is not Talbot Park.
He answered them. What?
The AL East is not Talbot Park.
Hold on, Marty Roberts. Hold on, man. This is I wasn't prepared for this, so I'm gonna have to light a cigarette if this guy keeps trying to.
Here, we're gonna go off of that. I honestly think I know you don't like the Kiermaier thing. To me, when it happened, I wasn't Kiermaier. I didn't like the signing. The one I didn't like the most was Belt, and he's absolutely showing his age right now. He doesn't look like he can pull anything. He couldn't hit Greinke. He struck it another 3 times tonight. I wanted them to sign Conforto over Belt. They went the Belt way. Could you see them, Billy? If this continues the way that Belt's playing, halfway through the year they just say forget it and we wash our hands of them?
Yeah.
First of all, here's the thing that you gotta factor, and obviously Belt comes with a sordid story, right? Half of it is obviously he's an established big league ball player, an established big league hitter with a history of injury problems coming off a year where he didn't play at all. So, as you know, Marty, a guy that's played in the National League his entire career as a elder statements coming over to a new league, that's a big adjustment. So before I pull, he's looked terrible. But before I pull the trigger on him, I gotta see a little bit more. I gotta see him get comfortable, and I give it at least. You can't make a judgment on a guy like that until about at least 100, 125 at-bats. And then I make a judgment. But obviously, if you're all in and this guy's hitting his weight at the All-Star break and further, he's DFA territory. You're already over the luxury tax, right? You're not going to hold a guy like this for what, man? You say, see you later and swallow the $9 million and whatever the case is.
All right. So I'm going to ask Billy first, okay? We're what, 7 games into the year. Are you exactly... You didn't think Blue Jays are going to go 7-0, 6-1, whatever. Are they exactly where you thought they would be?
Again, I'm a little tired, man. I've been talking a lot. My stomach hurts. You know when you stand up? You know when you stand up like this? It's like you're doing crunches. It's like I'm doing crunches, man. Holy jeez, my stomach hurts, man. Let me lean back.
3 pounds of wings. It could have been the 3 pounds of wings you ate.
Let me lean back, boys, and tell you that. I'll tell you the following. That I am one of the people that is not yet convinced that the Toronto Blue Jays they're much different, but I'm not convinced. Oh, look at me, man. I better stand up so that belly doesn't show. All right. I'm not convinced whatsoever that the Blue Jays are a better baseball club and will have a better season than they did last year. Not at all. Not in the least. Here's my my areas of skepticism. First of all, as we probably all agree, even the newfie, the bullpen hasn't been addressed, number one. Number two, again, when we're talking about the starting rotation, who knows? Kikuchi showed signs, Bassett I'm not sure. And frankly, number three, I'm not certain that the Blue Jays, in terms of the loss of Hernandez and Gurriel, have enough offense to be able to put up the necessary runs against some of the better clubs. For me, again,
what did Gurriel do last year? What did Gurriel do last year that makes you think that he is so good offensively?
I'll tell you.
You can pass on Hernandez. You can speak for Hernandez. Gurriel had 55 RBIs and like 8 home runs.
Let me tell you. Let me answer that. It's not the only thing that I can tell you, Marty, is you've coached baseball. You've had 1,000 players under your reign over your time, right? You know when you have a guy and he's at the plate, right? One of your guys. But you always, something about you, trust the guy. Like he's going to put the ball in play. Like for me, Gurriel with the bat, right? I trust him at the plate. I trust him. My instinct trust him and my eyes trust him. Irrespective of the stats, the WAR, the 8 and 55. Like again, he's not batting third for Arizona by accident, right? The guy's a perennial 300 hitter. Right, and for me, that's a big miss in the middle of a lineup of 230 hitters. When you're talking about Varsho, Kiermaier, other guys like that, Belts, I don't know. You're gonna miss the bats of those two guys, I believe.
You know what? You're like I said, you could sell me on Hernandez all day if you want. Gurriel, you can't sell me on anything he does. Not one thing. So Hernandez, you want to say you're losing your 25, 30 home runs for him? That's great. Gurriel, you're losing nothing. You could put you in there to hit and be better off. First of all, wait. He can't run the bases. All right. He's lost his power last year. He lost his power last year. 8 home runs, 9 home runs.
How's his hair, Marty Roberts? You know why I think you don't like that guy? Because a guy like you that's lost all his hair is a little bit envious of a guy like that's got that growing flow, and you see it. I believe it's hair envy that you're feeling, Marty Roberts.
No hair envy with him. It's just he's a guy that had to be moved out. They got him. Why is he batting 3 at Arizona? It's obvious. It's a young team. It's not a very good team in Arizona. They got him at 3 right now. He will not stay there at 3, but he is at 3 right now, batting his $180 right now. You're 100% correct. Hernandez has wait. Hernandez in Seattle right now. Yes, he has 2 home runs. In 28 at bats, he struck out 13 times.
Well, number 1, times.
Forget about. No, wait, one second. Let's talk about Hernandez and Gurriel. Varsho has shown already much better. He cuts off balls in the outfield, makes play,
and he threw out the guy at home plate.
Hold on.
Every at bat.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Instead of this being the Greek, would you talk in this disrespectful manner to John Freeman Nelson if he was on?
If he had the same opinion you did, yes, I would.
Right?
Hold on.
And no, he wouldn't.
Kevin Kiermaier, let's give Steve Carney some credit here, okay? He changed your opinion, Marty.
Kiermaier, to me, I thought, why are they bringing this guy in? But you know what? He's doing what he's supposed to do. Defensively, he's making plays. He's getting along with all the players. He's not going to hit you 25 home runs. No, he's not. But if he's going to bat 9 and get on for Vlad and Bo, he's doing his job.
We all had no problem with the signing, Marty Roberts, because we anticipated that Kiermaier was being signed as the 4th outfielder. And in that spot, a guy like that is ideal. A guy that can play defense, pinch run, play 2 times a week is an ideal 4th outfielder. He's not an ideal guy to play 140 games in center field. I don't care. Carney, Barney, whoever else can't tell me that Kevin Kiermaier is an above-average player in 140 games. You want to sell me on Kiermaier being a valuable commodity as a part-time player? I'll buy it. But the Blue Jays would be much better, much better. You put Varsho in center, and you put Springer in left and Hernandez in right, and you plug Hernandez in the 5-hole in your batting order to bat either in front or behind Varsho, then you got a legitimate offense. You're missing one big bat in the middle of that lineup, and it's coming down to guys like Kirk, guys like Belt. You put Hernandez in the middle of that lineup, and you know what it is. That's a dangerous, and it changes the whole lineup from top to bottom. Bad trade in getting rid of Hernandez. Terrible. And you got nothing for him, too. What else can you say? It was a fleecing by Seattle, regardless of the 2 home runs in 18 games and whatever stats you want to throw my way. It was a fleecing, period.
I don't know if fleecing, but you think that Hernandez, 1 year had over 100 RBIs. 1 year. That's it. 1 year. And you act like he's Barry Bonds.
He's got more of a track record than Varsho that you're in love with.
Hey, when Hernandez first came to the Jays, guys didn't like him. Fans did not like him. All of a sudden, he became better. Varsho is already better at his age than what Hernandez was at that age. And the one thing that Varsho has is baseball IQ, which Hernandez does not have. And you know as well as I do, that plays a big part in the game of baseball.
Hold on. All right, the baseball, there's enough room on the Blue Jay roster for a dummy like Hernandez to bat in the 5-hole, swat me 40, drive in 100. I don't want Hernandez for his IQ. I want Hernandez in the middle of that lineup to protect Vladdy and to bat in front of Varsho. That's it.
Let's talk about the hot start from the guy in the hot corner, Chapman. Marty, go ahead. This guy has, what is he, 6, 7 doubles
Yeah,
already?
he's leading the league in freaking hits, 13 or 14 hits now. Here's the thing I've always, Chapman, always have. Is he going to be, right now what he's doing is he's just putting the ball where he's hitting it where it's pitched. He's not trying to pull it like he was last year. He's hitting line drives everywhere. Now, here's my question is, let's come June, and he only has 5 home runs. Is he going to be comfortable still with batting .280 with only 5 home runs, or does he revert back to, I want to swing for the fences? That'll be the tell for me when it comes down in another month, how he does. But right now, he looks very comfortable out there. I saw him the other night. He swung out of his shoes on one, and that's what he would do last year. He called time, composed himself, got back up there, and then hit a double into the gap. So maturity, or is it he playing for a contract for next year?
So what you're suggesting, if he ends up with 5 home runs in 2 months, then he's Lourdes Gurriel.
I knew he's going to see that. I knew he's going to see that.
If he's driving in runs, Gurriel didn't drive in runs. So,
he's out for 30. He's out for 40 games. Take 80. Here's the point. That obviously Chapman, there's something important, and you mentioned it off the top, that for whatever reason, and he's not the only guy in town, that somehow plays to the fact that he's looking for a big, fat payday. He's a bona fide ball player. I'm not going to knock the guy. Obviously, if I was in his spot, I want to get paid too. I want to put up numbers, and that's the exact reason why you kept Chapman on a walk year, but you didn't keep Hernandez on a walk year where he could have put up the same numbers. You're willing to hold on, Joe.
I gotta put over your fellow countryman. Since me and you are good friends with the Greek here, what about Alex Anthopoulos' team undefeated?
Cares, man. I'm in the middle of making a legitimate point. I don't even think Anthopoulos is Greek, really.
With this broadcasting legend, Norm Rumack, hammering the same point. Enough. You're putting money to sleep.
Anthopoulos, number 1, is Greek. I'm not sure the man knows how to speak the language. He hasn't returned my calls in over a year. Things are not good between the Greeks, and we'll leave it at that. So again, Marty, you let Chapman play through his free agency, right? But you wanted to get rid of Hernandez, and to me that didn't make sense. You keep them both, and if you happen to fall out of the playoffs and something happens, then you trade them for a handful of prospects at the deadline. If not, you just run with them. That's it. Anyway, we'll move on. I'm right. You're wrong. Case closed.
Hey, Joe, I got a text message from Billy that if the Jays win 92 games this year, he's walking his ass up to Barry. No, running, he said, and he'll donate money to charity. So we got to pull for 22 wins from the Jays.
95, buddy. 95's the number.
You said they were going to get 86 wins.
Yeah, but just because I don't want to risk it.
Here's
it's a long walk. It's a long walk up there.
Here's the
95.
thing. Billy, I'm going to give you your rightness here that the bullpen needs to be fixed. To me, they might have the guys at AAA already to bring up to take out Richards. Maybe I don't mind Simber just because it's a different angle, but they got Pearson down there. They got Zoluta down there, and they got the 2 Fernandezes down there. Now, the only problem with the 2 Fernandezes is they're not on the 40-man roster, so they'd have to move them onto the 40-man roster. But Pearson and Zoluta are 2 guys that touch 100 miles an hour and strike out well more than a guy an inning. So they have those pieces down there. Richards today showed again what he is, gives up 3 runs. I think it's time for Richards to be sent packing.
I want to ask Billy this because Billy wasn't on when we talked about the renovations at the Rogers Center and all that. Billy, you like hot dogs. I know you like a hot dog. You're a hot dog. All right. By the way, how much do you think the new hot dogs at the Rogers Center are?
If I had to take what's the size, Joe? Are we talking about the jumbo?
No. We you always come up with short like prior.
But you guys tell me poutine hot dog. It's a poutine hot dog.
Poutine hot dog, yeah. Poutine hot dog.
I'm guessing. I would hazard a guess as to say that if you wanted to throw in a drink too, who eats a hot dog without a bagel?
No, just the hot dog right now. We'll get to the drink.
You got it.
Hot dog.
I don't know. I'm guessing you got to pull $15 out of your pocket.
Close. $11.50 for a poutine dog.
11.
Would you pay because we pay you heavily here at the Fired Up Network, would you pay $11.50 for a poutine dog?
I don't come on the Fired Up Network to make money, Joe. Obviously, I realized this was a dead end. This was a dead end operation 3 years ago. I just come on here for the people, man, for the love of the game, and to get a chance to see my good buddy, man, Marty Roberts. Very proud of this young man. When I first met him and I brought him into the industry, that guy couldn't put two sentences together. He was shy like a schoolgirl, and just to see him come full circle and be able to not only hang with me, but in some cases, every now and then, this guy's starting to get the best of me. God bless you, Marty Roberts. Keep up the good work, buddy, man. You've come a long way from the what it used to be, the rookie sensation. Now, Marty, you're nipping at the heels of Nelly. You're nipping at Nelly's heels.
All right. Anything else in the sporting world that you want to talk about, Billy, and your hot dog?
Where do you want to begin? What want to talk about, Joe?
Where do I want to begin about your hot dog? What? Go ahead. Talk about anything in the sporting world.
Marty, take the lead. Where do you want to go, man? What's on your mind? Anything you want answers to? Just ask me.
5 minutes.
The Masters. What are your thoughts about today's opening round of Tiger Woods at the Masters?
Here's the interesting piece from the Masters. Obviously, in looking through the leaderboard, it'd be interesting to know the highest Canadian was Old Man Weir at even par, which was an interesting little tidbit when it comes to the Masters. You'd expect more from Connors, shooting over par, not acceptable. And again, some of the guys. But the interesting stuff is to watch the guys from Live come over here and just the dynamic and the way it's played out, right? Greg Norman, no invitation, nowhere. Can't even step foot in Augusta. They're going to throw him in a slammer. It's just some interesting stuff. Golf has developed a little bit of drama, which for otherwise kind of like mundane sports, not bad, right?
All right. Go ahead. Anything else now, Billy? Go ahead. We talked golf. We talked hockey. We talked baseball. You want to talk basketball?
Well, what do we want to? Do the Dallas Mavericks get the 10th seed and get in the play-in? Is it OKC or Dallas?
I want to see OKC. They got Shea. Let's talk about Shea, man. Every time, 30 points, 10 assists a game, and he's underrated. Not many people are still talking about this guy, Billy.
I'll tell you this because I heard a basketball show you guys do, not a bad production. Here's who Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's like, kind of. He's almost comparable to William Nylander, and I'll tell you why. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, over the previous couple of years, there was this notion amongst NBA circles that he was soft, that he wasn't physically developed, and he played a soft game, right? Where you can body him physically and you can get him off his spot. He's improved from a physical standpoint, and you watch his game. His game has become that of a man over the last year and a half, as has Willie's in some respects, albeit not this evening.
You know what? That's a good point by Greek. Greek, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm going to see if I could get the other Greek, Anthony K, on here, and we'll have a Greek festive hour with Marty Roberts speaking Greek and you guys talking about sports.
You know what? I don't know quite what to say about that, right? It's obviously for a guy like me and a guy like Kay and Marty, it's got to be intimidating for guys like this, young guys to come on with a man of my stature, right? So again, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable.
A guy named Joe. Now you're working with the best Joe there in the world.
Whatever the case is.
Seconds to talk about your favorite man who emailed Marty Roberts this week. Go ahead.
Who's my favorite man?
Yeah, your favorite other Joe.
Don't get me started again. It's obvious that there's a little bit of resentment on the Greeks party. I don't want to get into that. He's a hell of a guy. Broke in with him, gave me the opportunities. He's just God bless him. He's just a fine and upstanding citizen, and wish him nothing but the best and just Godspeed and all the best to happen for him. He's a wonderful family man, a wonderful gentleman, and a man of unlimited moral compass and turpitude. Just a pleasure to have worked with and to know, and I'm better off for the experience.
Marty
Here,
Roberts.
hey, can you tell me if this is true or not true, Billy? So I'm watching a show on Mondays, and there's a young kid on your show, Alex Campbell, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Is it true or false that you're not having him on anymore because he has better hair than you? Can you answer that for me?
I'll answer it exactly. Number one, the thing that makes me most happiest, again, in life, is when I see talent, when I'm surrounded by talent, when I see guys shine. I'm the kind of guy that really, I'll fool around in that. But when I see guys that are unique, that are succinct, that are eloquent, and that are savvy in their delivery, I enjoy them. And Alex for me is a hidden gem, a hidden talent, and arguably just as qualified as thousands of people I watch on my TV to do a job for a living, right? But it's just funny because some guys even like that are hidden gems that might never get discovered and might never get the opportunity, while other guys, like, take for example, like fellas, and I don't know the man, like Cabral Richards has made a living out of doing sports and doing his silly shit and his ridiculous persona, right? But does that guy know really anything about sports? Really, honestly, would you take that guy over me? Is that guy more handsome than me? Is he more articulate? I don't know. Would you take that guy as a Trivial Pursuit partner in sports over the Greek? No.
Marty, does he got better hair or no?
I would take the Greek all day.
How about that? How about the other guy, Jay Onway?
Thank you, Marty, heavy hitter. All right. By the way,
hold on. Let's take it a step further. How about that tool, Jay Onway, that does sports every night for a national network on TSN? Man, are you telling me in good conscience that guy has a level of charisma, a level of talent? Does he have a delivery that's unique? Does he have a delivery that's unique and special?
Hold on. I got to ask you a very important question. Are you high on Alex Campbell?
Alex, for me, the only thing I would do with the kid is, I don't know about the ponytail, the one length. This is not the 80s kid rock and roll. And, I would get the kid to be a little more conservative, give him a little bit of fade, touch him up a little bit. And you know what? When it comes to just straight deliveries, top of the line, and I look forward to helping.
Hold on. Alex Campbell, if you want to join Fired Up Network, work with one of the better professionals, Marty Roberts, started, like I said, the rookie sensation. Now he's the grizzled young veteran instead of a fraudulent company where the other guy is a borderline Hall of Famer but number one sleeper of on all shows, Norm Rumack. Come over here, Billy. Maybe you could show him what energy is like. What energy is like on a station here instead of Monday. Where
the only thing, listen, because I don't know the kid well enough and we haven't worked together. I've never brought him the heat. I don't know how he'll respond to that. I don't know if he'll go in the show. When I drop the gloves, I don't know if he'll turtle. I don't know that yet. If he comes out, he might come out swinging, the kid. I don't know. You see Marty come out swinging. When I first came on here, I used to give him shots and he'd go cower in the corner. Now he drops the gloves. I don't know about Campbell, though.
Well, Marty Roberts learned from the best, Joe to Joe. And when's the next time you're going to drop the gloves with the broadcasting legend or borderline Hall of Famer or whatever they call your name is?
You know what? We're thinking about going all a WWE style, like a possibly setting up in the near future a retirement match where if Mr. Rumack doesn't come out with at least 5 zingers, he's fired right at 6:59. I'm gonna fire him. 5 zingers. I want the Rumack from '89 to come alive, and who knows? Maybe we'll incorporate that into the next few episodes. Retirement matches for Rumack.
Aside, you're telling me the Monday shows of next month are going to be more lively, more better production, more graphics, somewhat like you see on the Fired Up Network.
Yeah, absolutely. Negotiations are ongoing, absolutely, and look forward to a successful completion. Obviously, there's some I's to dot and T's to cross. Finances being what they were, still negotiating, but it looks optimistic from that perspective in terms of moving forward with
Marty Roberts get $1 in this negotiations. Does Marty Roberts get $1?
I want one wing out of the 3 pounds.
Well, you know what? Here's a question for Marty Roberts. What have you done with all those TTC tokens you've stolen over the years now that they're worthless?
They're worth. You know how many people will be looking to return those for their money?
Yeah. What do you guys give? 10 cents on the dollar?
I think they give it right back. Whatever you paid, that's what you get back. But there's only
That's not
once they stop the production of them, it'll be a certain time frame that they have to return them to get their money, just like it was tickets and that. So I don't know what they're going to do with them. Some people will keep them just for, memorabilia later on in life. They might be worth something.
When do you think, given the fact obviously you've been employed with the Toronto Transit Commission for a long time, when do you plan on making that jump that a lot of guys do at your age, in your position, into the transit booth? When do you figure that transition will take place?
The collector's booth is becoming obsolete. They're bringing in customer service agents that will be walking around, and there's not as many. If you go to subway stations, there's not as many collector booths anymore. They're sort of putting those to the way of the dodo bird, and bye-bye to them, right? So
in 2023, obviously I haven't taken a subway in quite a while, but probably a lot of people watching on this network, because the majority of them are poor, not too smart, probably live in Scarborough. But do you think it's easier to sneak on the subway now than it was 10 years ago?
100%. 100%. They don't, you used to get excuses when they didn't pay. Now they just walk on, don't give you an excuse.
Hold on, I got a very important announcement. I got to ask Billy here, okay? I just reminded me here. I'm looking for new carpet, all right? Billy, can you tell me who to talk to and everything? I'm looking for new carpet.
Hey, look no further, man. Just all you got to do is trust me for once. Just trust me. I know a lot of people are skeptical of me years later. Obviously I've told you about so many beautiful things in terms of financial investments. I've filled the people's pockets for years. I don't get the credit I deserve, especially from you guys, but nevertheless, I don't look for credit. It just, it would be nice. But anyways, I give the straight information. And when you're talking about carpets, there's nobody better than the mayor, Nikki Borsch, Carpets for Life. All you got to do is just go and watch this character, and you'll lose your mind, man. You can't help but love him. And once you love him, he won't let you down, Marty. Not like all those girls in Scarborough in your younger days. You fell in love your whole life, and they kept letting you down, and you had to take your sorry ass to Barrie, Ontario, man, because you couldn't hang. You couldn't hang in the mean streets of Kennedy and Lawrence, could you?
Of Nick at Carpets for
Life. There's Mark and Lawrence, not Kennedy.
You could, Galloway's a tie. I know a couple of guys. I don't know, man. But let's just say guys like you, country guys, you're a little bit safer up in the suburbs than you are in the city. You're not a city slicker, Marty Roberts. You're a country boy.
All right, enough about Marty Roberts. We'll have that love in tomorrow. But here, let's talk about how do you get a hold of Nikki Borsch, because I'm actually going to write this down. I need new carpet. Come on.
Carpetsforlife.ca. And also, if you go on my videos, this guy's got his phone number all over the place. I don't know. You know what? Even if you don't want to come, just call him and say, Borsch, I saw the Greek. And I'm interested in the carpet. Just live. Do anything for me, man. I need Borshi. I need him bad. I can't lose the sponsorship. Help me out, people. Just call the guy, man. Say hello to him. Lie to him. Whatever.
We're all going to call Nikki Borsch. Marty needs new carpet on his head and everything like that. Come on. All right.
Hey, does he sell not just carpet? Does he have hardwood and laminate flooring as well?
He's got everything under the sun. Nikki Borsch, if you got a problem in your home, you call him. And honest to God, the guy's an upper level, man, upper echelon craftsman, does the job, family run place. And if you're going to do that job, obviously, what do you want, man? What are you looking for? You're looking for the best quality and the best price. And if you meet the guy that meets those demands, you hire him. And that's the guy. So don't look anywhere else. What else can I tell you? Otherwise, go pay double the money for some guy, I don't know who. I don't want to use any derogatory names here on a family pro. Go pay double the money for somebody else. Yeah. I don't want to say. Go ahead.
Scoundrels, come on. All right. So Billy, I got another. Marty Roberts has just texted me. He's like, ask Billy, where's that place where we could get wings and all that? And Norm Rumack said he's going to actually pay Billy. That is history in the making. No wonder it's going to snow tomorrow. So go ahead, Billy. Tell them where everybody can purchase 3 pounds of wings, get fatter, and everything like that.
What did I become, man? I'm not here to be a pitchman. I'm here to talk sports. But anyways, if you like a little decent food, I'll put it to you like this. Let me rewind. Earlier today, I went to establishment. Good friend of mine, known him for a lifetime. Went in about 6 o'clock, and the place is ram-packed. Every table is full. There's a waiting list. The bar's full, and it's 6 o'clock. So why would an establishment have that many people at that time on a Thursday night? Number one, good food. Number two, good company. Everything, when you're looking to leave your house on a weeknight to go out and have a good time, you want good food, you want good service, you want good company, and you want to feel good about the people around you. That's why you spend money, if indeed you have any after this disaster of a COVID lockdown. But if you got disposable income, you're choosy about where to spend it. What better place than Academy Sports Bar and Grill? Best wings, best company, best guys, and every now and then I'm there too. So that's a good deal.
Number 3 because the Golden Greek is there.
That's a pretty good deal on its own right too.
All right, and don't, Marty, come on! I need some bets on horse racing, Cosa, and all that. Come on. Oh, come on, Marty! I gave him the pitch, man. You could say something. Guy who brings Cosa to some fraudulent company. Come on.
You know what? The guy who sends the Cosa Classic is top notch. That's all I know is that this guy who sends it week in and week out takes time out of his day. It doesn't matter if he's sitting on the throne picking the Classic or not. He sends it.
How long does it take him to do that?
Depends. I got to pick, every now and then I got to throw one for Willie O'Donnell there. I got to make sure that the boss gets paid from Billy.
All right. Is there anybody else that you want to plug, Billy, here? Like Serrano's or Emilio's? What's that? Because I need a massage here and there. Anybody else you want to plug here, Billy?
At this point in time, given some of my financial limitations, the only way I open my mouth for another human being is if there's a visit into my pocket. So I got nobody else to talk about. Those are my friends. Those are the people, and those are the ones that I work with at this point in time, and we'll continue to do so moving forward. We're going to have Angelo, owner of Academy, going to be sponsoring some of the programming, the soccer show, hopefully, and he's a big aficionado. I asked him today, as a matter of fact, speaking to him on the phone, do you know who Carmen Asacchio is? And he said, you know what, absolutely lost his mind. Said, you know what, call the guy over. I want to talk to him. Free wings for him, free beers, anything on the house if he comes over.
What are his assistants? What about Joe, Giancarlo, John Nelson?
The guy, you know what, first of all, the guy owns the whole building. He owns half the block. You think he cares about $40 wings?
Billy, I'm hurt here. I'm hurt. You didn't bring my name. I watched Ted Lasso.
Well, Marty, once again, man, when it comes to the hierarchy and the whole nature of things, guys like me and you are low on the totem pole, pal. We're low on the totem pole, man.
Billy, I gotta say this. Marty's studying up on soccer. Sooner or later, Marty Roberts is going to be on the soccer show and stun the world. Stun the world. He will talk about his Chelsea references, how they fired the coach and brought back Lampard. He will stun the world, man. I'm telling you, I expect big things from Marty Roberts on the soccer show.
Marty, I'll tell you this: the cows will be flying before Marty Roberts talks soccer. I'll tell you that. Number two, I got also return the favor in terms of some of the stuff you do. Mutual Admiration Society being what it is, but you guys, honest to God, and I've said this 100 times, got the best soccer show that I've seen anywhere in terms of major broadcasters, anywhere in terms of ESPN, TSN, Sportsnet. Anybody that's ever done soccer, it comes second to yourself, the coach, and John Freeman Nelson, and the whippersnapper. What's his name? The little guy.
What about a basketball show with Anthony K and Drew Ebanks? Come on.
I'm being honest. Obviously, they're not bad, but when you want me to be honest, or you want me to lie to you? They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're not bad. They got a good little thing going. But when you're talking about the coach, John Freeman Nelson and the whippersnapper, that's the best triumvirate that you can find talking about footy. Without a doubt, man, that I've seen. If you've seen a better one, tell me who it is.
And lacrosse, wait till you see who we got on lacrosse.
The only thing that you need, in my estimation, is a guy with a British accent. Like, that guy on TSN, he sounds smart just because of the accent. Meanwhile, he's a tool, right? He doesn't know what he's talking about, but that British accent, it makes him sound smart.
I got a couple Greeks guy here. Hey, oh, come on. I got a couple.
That's not English, Joseph. That's not English accent, Joseph.
No, I don't need English. I need Greek accent.
No, you need. Billy's absolutely right. You need that accent to make it sound like you know what you're talking about.
I forget the gentleman's name. I don't want to railroad him. I've never met the guys on TSN. I kind of enjoy that voice, man. And Sharman too. I had James Sharman on, and I told him that again. If you take away the accent, you're probably working for $14 an hour. But because you got an accent and you found footy, you make a living, man. God bless you, right?
We're gonna close it off before I get fired off air here. Billy, 7:00 on Monday. Who's your special guest? And by the way, before you answer this, tomorrow, Good Friday, we are doing a special show, not a soccer show. We're going to have Derek Bowles on here, and we're going to have Renaissance Mama. Marty Roberts has confirmed. He has done nothing except go to Costco for Good Fridays for years to come. He's going to be on here. Billy, do you want to be on?
I'll be, depending what time. I plan to be on live from the Academy Sports Bar and Grill if the times coincide.
All right. And
hey, Joe, I'm just a question. Are you doing the same thing you did last year, dressing up as the Easter Bunny and handing out eggs?
Go ahead.
I asked you, are you?
Me or Billy?
I said you. I said you.
You asked me. Listen.
Yeah, I said you.
Listen. I carry a good sack of my eggs here. They're too heavy. Just ask Patricia. All right. So there you go. Okay.
They melt.
They melt in your. Never mind. All right. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Old Lefty 22, Instagram, Twitter.
He forgot. He's looking down.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you asked Bill. I was waiting for Billy to say he didn't want to be reached. I thought it was him.
Billy, he doesn't want to get a hold of Billy. Come on, Marty, go ahead.
You can Old Lefty 22, Instagram, Twitter, or I'll be with Billy down at the Billiards Academy having some chicken wings on him.
Oh, Billy, have you? You're already spending some of the money we're giving you.
First of all, for a guy like this to make the long trek from Barrie, considering it's going to cost him $28.32 in gas, you think this guy's making that whole trip down? Absolutely not. I don't know. We'll see. You know what, Marty? You want to come down tomorrow? You want to treat? I'll buy you wings, man. I'll treat you to wings at Academy Sports Bar and Lounge. And then after, you know what? Hold on. Because I'm a benevolent individual, I'll put it to you like this. I'll play you.
Wait, how do you spell that, Billy? I gotta put it on Google.
I'm not here to spell things. This is not the spelling bee, which, by the way, in grade 3, I came in 3rd place in Ontario, number 1. Mathematics, A+ student. I skipped grade 2. Let's not get into that. What I want to do at this point in time is make you an offer. And it's something like this. I'll pay the bill, but we'll play one game of pool. But I'll play you 8 ball. One game, and I'll play with one hand.
I gotta see this, Marty. Bring your camera. And put it up on the FiredUp Network.
Hand, like this, and you play with 2.
I can't play pool.
Ah, jeez. What can you do? You can't sports commentate. You're not that good of a bus driver. You got Ken from East York as the pitching coach. You haven't won anything in Durham. What in the blue hell can you do?
I think I get text messages every day about coming back to help someone coach at East York. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, by the way, isn't someone that's helping? Doesn't he coach at the Ontario Titans? Is that where he coaches?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it.
So Tyler this year, which is my son, is coaching at his old high school. He's the pitching coach there, and he has a kid there from the Ontario Titans. That's I think he's grade 10, throwing 76 miles an hour. So hey, we might have a hookup for you. You better tell your guy from the Titans that you might want to have him go down to East York next summer.
Yeah, the guy from the Titans, by the way, his name is Dennis Bailey. Who knows? Maybe he's watching this. good guy, baseball guy through and through, and we're trying to put together and build a championship club at East York. So we put our heads together, and then we'll keep you posted in terms of how the season goes. And we're always, as you know, Marty, that a lot of people that watch this program and others, they love baseball in the city, but not a lot of people actually know that there's competitive baseball going throughout the summer. Like a lot of people that watch the Jays and what have you, they would be impressed if they came out and seen how good I look in a uniform, from managing from the dugout, smoking cigarettes down the line, right?
With no hat on.
What's the record for East
With no
York?
hat.
How is the East York Bulldogs looking?
Hey, at this point in time, the team looks ultra competitive on paper, but again,
Work in progress.
It's a work in progress. And again, the only thing that can screw up the East York Bulldogs is the management, really, to be honest with you.
Which has happened the last 3 years, so we better look for new management.
Again, I can't even be self-deprecating with those. You should say, no, you're like, I can't even put myself under the bus with all you guys joining in. Anyways, Stan Wadlow Park, the Toronto Baseball, Greater Toronto Baseball Association, a beautiful organization, been around for how long, Marty? It's been around for maybe
TBA's been for forever. OBA,
Yeah.
TBA have been around forever. It used to be just the TBA, just strictly Toronto Baseball Association, but now they've brought in SBA, the EOBA, so it's becoming bigger. And unfortunately, junior baseball, where you're at, has to come back to what it used to be years ago, where everyone wanted to come and play. And there's lots of good ball players out there that decide for one reason or the other in the summer they don't want to play as much anymore. So hopefully that changes, where these kids, because junior baseball used to be it. Like it was the intercounty junior baseball, and there was a lot of good players in junior baseball, and there still is, but not as many come out anymore because they want to take the summer off and relax. I get that because they do play a lot, but there's if you're around a park, Stan Wadlow, Bond Park, go out and watch junior baseball.
Sorry to cut you. But when you say play a lot, I've looked at some of the schedules, especially for some of the kids. And again, maybe I'm looking at it from a JUCO perspective, but some of the kids over there from the beginning of the season only play like 20, 22, 25 games until the end of May before they're done. So when you say play a lot, explain to me more so I can understand. What kind of season are D1's clubs playing in terms of games?
Their limits are, I believe it's like 64, 65 games are allowed. Most teams will play somewhere between 40 and 50 games in a season. Now, JUCO will play a September season. They'll play like 12, 15 games there, but they work out every single day. And it plays a little different. They have so many exhibition games and that they can play in the off season. Come January or whenever they're allowed to get on the field, they're going every single day. So it's not necessarily just games. It's every day they're on the field. Every single day they're on the field. Playing 60 ball games and then practicing every day that they're not there.
But as you know, Marty, it's one thing to be on the field for some yo-yo in Idaho, Nebraska, than it is to be on the field for the skipper, the East Shore skipper, the Greek, man. Those are two different worlds, right? Obviously.
As you may have seen, Taylor Woods, I asked her about the thumb wrestling.
I seen her. She ducked me.
No, she didn't duck you. I got a response here. Ask the Greek if he wants to have that thumb wrestling competition on the first night of Leafs playoffs. So whatever, if it's April 17th or 18th, we're going to have a thumb wrestling war with a hockey champion and the Golden Greek, Billy Jurgensakis. All right, Marty Roberts.
I'll tell you like this. Hold on, just to preview this matchup, I'll tell you this. That I come into this derby, this exhibition, this challenge with a impeccable record. See this over here. First of all, I use products on there. It's hard to pin me down, slippery individual.
Barbecue sauce.
Baby lotion. Baby lotion or olive oil. Doesn't matter, whatever I decide on game day. But the point of the matter is, I have a record that dates back to my younger years in life. We're talking about 7, 8 years old. I've never lost a match in my life. I've never lost a thumb wrestling match. I've never lost a burpee match. I'm undefeated. There's nobody in this world that can say with a straight face they got a W off the Greek in burpee or thumb wrestling, man, and that's no lie.
Billy, you know what? When's the last time? Because when we were growing up, we used to go around schoolyards all the time, and you'd see that box right on the schoolyard.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do you see that anymore? You don't see anyone playing Burby anymore. You don't see the
see the
boxes
box.
out there nowhere.
I see the box. I just don't see players.
It used to be. We used to go down there all the time and play it.
Oh man, you're not kidding.
I got another from Digit. Who is this Greek dude? I like his energy. Team me up with Billy Jorgen. Billy, this guy is cool. His hair isn't bad. Also, this is Digit Murphy.
Hold on, Joe. Let me address the young lady, please. Don't interrupt me.
He's older than you.
Doesn't matter. She's a young lady. Don't let me address her. If this is her, because you've been known, Joseph. Hold on. You've been known to fabricate.
No, I don't fabricate. I don't go to fabricate like you. Also,
you've been known to lubricate and fabricate, man. Those are the two things, man. You're famous for, Double J. So here's what I'll say to Digit.
Olive oil.
Here's what I'll say to Digit. Again, I was catching the show earlier, watching some of your movements, the way you conduct yourself, and me and you, the two of us together, side by side, arm in arm. Big possibility that the two of us can make music together of the intellectual variety.
All right, I don't want to even think about that one. I don't even want to.
I said, hold on, get your mind out of the gutter. She's savvy.
And what did you say? I learned that from Norm Rumack.
Of the intellectual variety, Joseph. She's savvy, she's passionate, she's creative, and she's kind of like, I need worthy adversaries. Like, I continuously engage of battles of wits with unarmed individuals like the two of you. Give me Digit Murphy all night.
Oh, give me all night. All right. On that note, you've been watching the flagship show on the Fired Up Network.
I'm taking us out, Joseph. Keep going.
And take it out. All right. So you've been watching the flagship show on the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. Thank you to Derek Bowles. Also, Taylor Woods, Digit Murphy, Taylor Woods, Ryan Payton, and John Freeman Nelson, and these two idiots, Marty Roberts and Billy Greek here. Stay tuned for more great programming tomorrow. A special show here on Good Friday. Billy's going to make it good. Marty's going to make it great. Billy, pass the